Blank check with Griffin and David. Blank check with Griffin and David. Don't know what to say or to expect. All you need to know is that the name of the show is Blank Check.
Lewis!
I'm a mess.
They'll podcast you. They podcast everything.
Jesus.
I'd podcast that for $1.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You got
Dead or
more?
alive, you're podcasting with me.
Come quietly or there will be podcast.
Ooh, podcast.
What is that? I don't
Come
even know.
on, the Tigers are podcasting tonight. Do you podcast, Bobby?
You know this movie better than me. Clearly.
I might know every line.
Well, hello, I'm David Sims.
My name's Griffin Newman.
All right.
You are
There we
clearly
go.
suffering post-traumatic stress.
I will notify a crisis center.
Well, I was going to say the podcast center.
Oh, yeah, podcast crisis
The
center.
nearest podcast crisis center. That might be indelicate.
This is an indelicate movie.
This is the best movie ever made. Hi, everybody. My name's Griffin Newman. I know I already said it, but I need to get it out again because, God, I'm twice as excited for this episode as any episode we've ever recorded.
It's disgusting. He's been sweating with glee for an hour.
That's not sweat.
Come on.
It's blood.
All right. Okay.
Been bleeding. My face has been bleeding with excitement.
Sure. His face is blood red.
We're hashtag the two friends.
Competitive advantage.
Connoisseurs of contacts.
Okay.
And this is a podcast about filmographies.
Ben's laughing.
David's already pissed off, and I'm having such a fun time.
It's a narrative. I'm having fun too.
It's a podcast about filmographies, directors who have massive success early on in their career and are issued a series of blank checks. And sometimes those checks clear.
Cha-ching.
Sometimes they bounce, baby.
Boing.
But this time,
I don't know. I'm trying stuff out.
you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, because this one's clearing.
Better blank check yourself.
Hey. This is a miniseries on the films of Paul Verhoeven.
Yep.
It is called Podship Casters.
Well said.
And today we are covering his 7th movie overall. Is that correct?
I tell you, but the Wi-Fi's down.
His 2nd English language film, because we're
Yes.
only covering the English language film.
That's right.
Paul Verhoeven, the Hollywood years.
Yep.
And more importantly, we are covering the Great American Film. This is the Great American
capital
movie.
T, capital G.
I would say so.
Yep.
I think a lot about Idly, and I'm sure you do as well. What you would do were you invited to submit your Sight and Sound top 10. You know, the very vaunted, highly esteemed
decade.
Right. Every decade
they have a
combination of
survey. No, there's 2 lists.
Journalists and filmmakers, and then the composite list of the two together.
I said, well, no, but there's the journalist list and the critic list. I think of those as, journalist list and the filmmaker list. Yeah.
There is a combined list.
Fuck the combined
list. There are 3 lists in total.
Fuck the combined list. 2 lists. 2 lists.
There's
2
3
good
lists
lists.
in total. There are 3 lists in total. It's like the mystery of Eleanor Rigby, or what's that movie
Disappearance
called?
of Eleanor
Whatever,
Rigby.
I don't know. Fuck me.
That movie was a stinker.
I can't believe I whiffed a reference to a movie for people now.
That was a movie where I saw the, the combined version.
That was the joke I was making.
I know, and I was like, ugh, what a slog. And people were like, well, both the 2 separate versions, him and her, which are each like 100, an hour and 45 minutes long. Those are good. And I was like, after watching that, I'm not going to go see the longer versions.
Yes. That's how I feel when people tell me to watch Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, the extended cut.
I actually kind of want to watch that
Someday I will. Yeah. But today this is the Great American Movie, and what I was trying to say was I think about that if I were handed a Sight and Sound list, right?
Yeah.
And I know what my top 10 favorite movies are pretty well. There's some rotation with the moods.
I don't think I do. But,
I'd say I have a 15 that are always in my 10.
Wow.
And sometimes the lower rankings,
they're sort of
I go through periods,
Mm-hmm.
There are very few movies that are in my personal top 10 that I think would also make my Sight and Sound. Here's my objective analysis of what I think are the 10 best films ever made.
Yeah, I get it.
A lot of the cases of the movies that are on my favorite movie list.
This is a very roundabout way to say RoboCop is on your favorite movie list and your best movie list.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
I get it. I get what you're saying.
But what I want to say was, like, a lot of the movies I think are the best films of all time, there's another film that director made that personally I feel more attached to.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
Like, it's the same directors overlapping on the two lists a lot.
Right.
But this movie, I just think is like the film for me.
It's the film for me.
It's the film for me. I think it's the great American movie.
Yeah.
Made by a sex-obsessed Dutchman.
Sure. Yes. One of his least sex-obsessed films.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love about it and I want to talk about a lot.
Okay.
But
great.
I'm going to talk about every single fucking element of this movie.
Uh-huh.
No guest on this one.
No.
Because we already don't have space for me to share all of my thoughts.
Yeah, I chased the guests away from this one. I was like, no, you don't want to come here.
Get far away.
Yeah, exactly.
I look at this movie and I'm like, no, objectively, I think this is as good as any English language film ever made.
Sure. Well, I think it's definitely the second best thing Paul McCrane was ever involved with.
ER's number one?
Yeah.
Okay, go fuck yourself.
I love this movie.
The film we're talking about today, the film we're talking about today is called Robert Cop.
Yep. Please don't do that.
Robert Cop?
Yes. Yes. Please don't do that.
It's Bob Cop.
Half man, half machine, 100% Robert.
No, it's half Robert, half cop.
Bobo Cop.
Cops and Robertsons. That's what we're discussing today. That's right. Chevy's back.
Yeah.
I would be down for that.
I know you would.
Yeah. RoboCops and Robertsons. RoboCop and a half.
Sure. RoboCop land. Oh, that's a serious turn.
That sounds like the Jurassic World type reboot where it's like, we got to make it bigger. You know, it's a whole land of Robert Cops.
Copland is one of those movies that when it came out, everyone was like, wow, what a like sort of dramatic turn for Sly Stallone, this sort of like, you know, weighty drama.
Yeah.
And now you watch, you're like, this is a fun movie. Like, I wish Hollywood would make more movies like this.
Well, that's like
it's about breaking balls, basically.
That's like when, I always think about this, but when Paper Moon came out, it was dismissed as like fucking popcorn fluff.
Like puffery.
Right, like puffery.
Now it's like art cinema of the highest order.
There's another one. Like The Untouchables is fascinating to watch in that sense. Because when it came out, everyone's like, this is just like a dumb blockbuster. And you watch it now and you're like, it's written by David Mamet.
It's true.
It's got like a fucking Morricone score. It's big set pieces and homage to Battleship Potemkin.
All true.
And everyone's like, this is some movie for fucking teenagers at a mall.
Just spilled water everywhere.
But that's what I love about Robert Cop is I think this is a movie, and I've said this before and I'll say it 1,000 times, and it's why I think this movie is like this platonic ideal of what I think film can do as a populist medium.
Oh my God.
Is that this is a movie that works for the smartest person in the room and the dumbest person in the room.
Sure. I mean, that's Paul Verhoeven's double whammy there, right?
And this is the one that synthesizes it best. And I think the thing that this movie does that puts it above the other Verhoeven films, which I love, I love all the films to some degree or another that we're talking about in this miniseries.
Even Hollow Man?
I haven't seen Hollow Man. That's the one I haven't seen.
Okay. But you love Showgirls.
I do.
Love Starship Troops.
Yeah.
Basic Instinct. I thought you hadn't seen that one.
You're right.
Yeah, right. So you're not a huge, you're not a completist over here.
I'm not.
Hey, I'm completing over here. Sorry.
I think this movie is the most genuine affection Paul Verhoeven has had for his characters in one of his American films. Mm-hmm. I think often he uses his protagonists as sort of delivery devices to get to the larger points he wants to make.
Okay.
Or they're sort of built around movie star personas. And I think this movie has a real humanism to it.
Yes.
That seems incompatible with everything else this film is doing. I think this film is this insane balancing act that he's able to like have his cake and eat it too, and make this movie that's like a balls to the wall satire, an action film, you know, this sort of deconstruction of the American, hero mythology, our obsession with violence, the culture at the time, our relationship technology, and also just like a movie about like a fucking good guy trying to remember who he is.
Sure. You know what is the worst of all those things?
What?
It's not like an amazing action movie. It's like a fine action movie.
I think it's a really solid action movie, but you also have to compare it to the action movies at the time, which are very different than the action movies we're used to.
They are. But I would say even then, I think the action in the movie is totally fine, but I don't think he's that interested because, the character is sort of a a lumbering giant.
Well,
He lumbers around.
Okay, so
it's lumber.
Yes, but that's a huge part of this film.
Everything's going to be a huge part of this film.
Yeah, because this is the biggest movie ever made.
Sure,
it's the hugest.
It was pretty cheap though. This movie,
10 mil.
10. I thought it was a little higher. I thought it was like 15.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you something crazy.
Oh my god. What?
Last night I watched this movie with great pleasure. Right?
How many times have you seen this movie?
I couldn't count. Honestly, I've probably seen it somewhere between 15 and 20 times.
Okay.
That's my guess.
All right.
But I watch it a lot.
I would have guessed more, honestly. I mean, all right, Wikipedia says 13 million for the budget.
Okay, so what I was going to tell you was I watched it last night with great pleasure. And I was like, oh, fuck, God, I love this movie. How much fun this is. Can't we go back to the Star Wars day where we just talk about one movie every week? Can't I just watch RoboCop every week?
That's so crazy. I've been listening back to our Star Wars episodes because the Reddit listens back to them.
Yeah.
And thank God we don't do that anymore. We really struggle in some of those episodes.
Oh, we got sweaty on a lot of those.
All right. But I watch with pleasure.
I watch with pleasure. I go to sleep. I have wonderful dreams. I have the best night's sleep I've had in years.
You're a sick, weird person.
Thinking of my friend Robert, okay? And then I wake up in the morning and the disc is still in my player, right?
Sure.
And I turn on my PlayStation 4 to play Lego City Undercover. And I'm like, you've never listened to the commentary.
Oh,
and I watched RoboCop again today. I watched it twice in the last 24 hours.
It's amazing. I mean, good for you. Good for you. I've never listened to the commentary either. I have it now because I own the Blu-ray.
Yes.
And I'd like to because I believe it's cited. I've seen it cited.
I believe it's ported over from the Criterion.
Yes, it is from the Criterion.
Because the commentary was recorded in 2000. They talk about George W. Bush just having been elected.
Wow. What a great time.
Yes.
I'm nostalgic for the era of the RoboCop commentary.
Yes. But they said on it that the budget was $10 million, and they went a little bit over. You want to hear one of the best examples of smart producing I've ever heard? Because the commentary is him, Ed Neumeyer, the screenwriter, co-screenwriter, and John Davidson, who was the producer on the film.
Okay.
And they were running out of money, coming up against the end of their schedule. And Verhoeven had all these big ideas, adding in the commercials, all these things they wanted to shoot that they didn't have time to fit in. And so what they did was they pushed the scene of Murphy's killing off of the schedule.
Okay.
They used the couple of days they were going to need for that entire set piece to fill in all the other stuff they want to do.
Right.
So then they went back to the studio and they were like,
shit, we didn't, this is a crucial scene.
You got to give us more money.
You got to give us money for that. Interesting.
Because they were like, if we shot that, they would never give us more money to do the other stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's very cute of them.
It's really smart.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, they didn't say the exact amount, but it was a budget of 10 went over.
Sure. 13 is the amount I'm seeing. Perfectly small amount, honestly.
Yes.
For 1987?
87.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Orion, is a pretty substantial studio at this time, but doesn't make huge budget films.
No.
They make a lot of trash. They also did some high class kind of stuff. Silence of the Lambs, notably.
Dances with Wolves.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was when they were starting to tiptoe into bigger and bigger budgets. But they started out as kind of like a Lionsgate-y kind of like mini major, sort of.
But, how many Best Picture winners did Orion produce?
3?
4. How many Best Picture winners, and I found this out today, has the Walt Disney Company produced?
0.
That's nuts.
Do you know how many nominations Disney has?
4 or 5. I think Mary Poppins and like Beauty and the Beast and like 3 Pixar movies.
Yeah, it was 2 until they added, they expanded the field.
Pixar movies, yeah.
Right.
No, but Orion had Amadeus, Platoon, Dances with Wolves, and Silence of the Lambs. That's crazy. Quite a pretty good run for a really studio that goes bankrupt like a year after the Silence of the Lambs or whatever.
Yes. So at this point, they had won 2 of those?
Yeah.
Yeah. But they do a lot of genre stuff.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. They're much like Lionsgate.
Yes.
Mix of schlock and slightly more arty.
Yes. Yeah. So he had done Flesh and Blood with them. Mm-hmm. He's now fully wanting to convert into the studio system. As I said in our Flesh and Blood episode, disappointed in himself at the failure of Flesh and Blood, said, I need to move to Hollywood and ingrain myself in American culture.
With
because
my wife,
he has been chased out of the Netherlands.
Right.
They said, you are too cuckoo for these Cocoa Puffs. You're not getting any government funding for your silly movies. So he goes to Hollywood and says, I need to, King Louis style, figure out how to walk like them, talk like them. Ooh-ee-oo.
Oh, that King Louis.
Yes.
Right. Not the...
No.
The king of the French.
Right.
Right.
But so he starts like observing American culture from this almost like anthropological level. And American films. And really studying the rhythms to try to figure out what connects with the American populace.
He's just going to talk for the whole episode, guys. Go on.
This is my dissertation. This episode's my dissertation.
Sure.
They're sending him a lot of scripts.
Yes.
He reads the script.
He throws it in the trash.
It's called RoboCop, The Future of Law Enforcement. Mm-hmm. He says he reads half a page.
Is it the Neumeyer Minor combined script, or is it like some earlier version of this script? No, it's the combined script, right? Because I believe the genesis was that one of them had written a script about like robo drones in the future, and one of them had written a script about like a cop who gets a machine in his body, and they were like,
it was pretty much what they shot.
No, yeah,
with some on-the-fly changes.
They had already decided to combine their ideas.
This was the movie existing in pretty much the form we know today.
Yeah,
you read like half a page of probably just like the table setting.
Yeah.
Like, this is garbage. Give me a cigar and a crepe. Blinch in a bong.
Oh, God.
He took a little skin flake out of a box and he put it on his tongue.
I love gold. Unfortunate smelting accident.
He's got a gold member.
Yeah, exactly. We get it, right?
I was about to say schmelting accident too, which is funny that both of us thought of that, considering that's not a notable quote from that
really?
movie.
Me and my cousin...
Schmelting as a term always jumped out to me.
Right. But me and my cousin used to just say that to each other all the time for some reason. One summer,
I used to say that too. This is why we're friends.
Unfortunate schmelting. Unfortunate... Yeah.
Yes. He throws it onto the floor, into the rubbish, right?
Yeah, the gold member. Yeah,
right.
To be clear.
Clunk. Right. But he was just getting all these scripts, and his wife of 50 years, she dishes
it out. Yes,
and she reads it and she goes, "Paul, you fucking idiot."
She swipes the coffee grounds off
David,
of it.
For the
Picks
listener
off
home, is
a
swiping
banana peel
off of it. Right. Then Paul slips on the banana peel.
Schmelting. I don't know.
She reads the script and says, "Are you a fucking idiot?"
Do you think she says literally, "Are you a fucking idiot?"
On the commentary, he makes it sound like she was that dismissive and angry of him.
Sure.
Said like, "Paul, you idiot. Mm-hmm. Did you read this thing?" And he was like, "No, it's called RoboCop. You're dumb."
I hate RoboCop.
Right. And she was like, "There's a lot going on in this script.
This country is sick.
This is a smart screenplay written by canny people. There are layers to this, but also this screenplay concerns all of your main thematic interests. This is very much a Jesus story. Mm-hmm. And this is very much a Frankenstein's monster tale.
It's a real Frankenstein movie. That's what I really think of it as, yeah.
Right, but the Jesus stuff was already in there.
No, I get you.
And Verhoeven reads it, and he goes, this isn't just a Jesus story. In his own words, Verhoeven says, this is the American Jesus. Mm-hmm. This is the American equivalent of Jesus.
Right.
The figure we've needed within the American mythology who died for our sins.
Oh, great.
And at the end rises and walks on water.
Sure. Good call.
A very, very deliberate choice.
Uh-huh.
Okay? So he goes, they give him the $10 million budget.
Uh-huh.
He starts obsessively watching American action films. And by his own admission, he was terrified going into this movie because he felt he did not understand American culture. There's an anecdote he tells that's hilarious, where when he was like doing meetings with the executives and going over script things, he said, page 36, there's this moment where a character says, "Are you okay, brother? Where in the script is it previously established that they are siblings?"
Uh-huh. You didn't get the slang.
He didn't get any of it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But I think that's a key to this movie is that, like, when we were talking our Detroit episode, right? About, like, I know that was different because it was within a political sphere, but...
What's your point?
Who has the right to tell what stories, right?
Sure.
And Gerard was saying, like, I don't think you need to have lived through something to make that movie, but you have to know what you don't know, in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, like, someone like Sean Baker doesn't know the people he's making the films about, but he learns, he meets them, he listens to them.
This is quite a tangent about RoboCop. Uh-huh.
Verhoeven was doing that with America.
Yeah, okay.
Right? Which means he didn't take anything for granted going into this movie, and every element in it is so deliberate and sort of field tested through his sense of trying to understand what this culture is.
Okay.
They hired Peter Weller.
Who do they want first?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And then?
That's who the studio wants.
Studio wants Arnold Schwarzenegger. Who does Paul want?
Rutger
Hauer.
Yeah.
But you know what the problem with them is?
Not getting along these days.
No, I mean, that's actually not what I read, but maybe. But it's just they were too big.
Well, I know that with Arnold.
Rutger Hauer's huge.
Really?
Yeah, like I think it was just like they're too large, like they're too bulky.
You got him on the dong?
Maybe. Does Arnie?
No. Actually, pointedly, no.
Like he says.
Have you ever seen those nude modeling pictures
Maybe,
from like the pumping iron?
It doesn't. I mean, possibly. It doesn't stick in the memory.
It's got like a D schlong, but like nothing to write home about.
But they were just like
but like very much not the Schwarzenegger of penises, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yes, it does.
His penis is shorter than his name.
You could write his name on a grain of rice. I mean, with the proper instructions.
Okay, but comparatively,
all right.
The grain of rice he draws, penis won't be smaller.
Great. How are we doing, Ben? You deleting the episode yet?
No, it's great.
How are we doing, producer Ben?
Yeah, no, good.
While you do that, I'm going to restart my computer. It's going to make the noise.
How are we doing, Poet Laureate? Okay, wait. So I have to get it done. Fuck. Oh, I thought.
You didn't have any. Just keep going.
How you doing, Fuckmaster? How you doing, Tiebreaker? How you doing, Birthday Benny?
Oh, man.
Sucking with Benny?
I'm dry. But
Keeper?
Yes. I'm looking at you guys.
Meat Lover? Fart Detective?
Yes.
Voice of Reason was recently recommended.
I like that, yeah.
The Voice of Reason?
I guess so.
Sonia said that in Hurt Locker when she was disappointed at Ben. She said, Ben, you're supposed to have my side here. You're the voice of reason.
It's true. I think it's a little bit my job. But maybe
okay, get over yourself.
Got him.
Got him.
You've, of course, graduated to certain titles over the course of different miniseries. Kylo Ben, producer Ben Kenobi. Ben Night Shyamalan. Ben Say Anything. Warhaz. Daily Ben's with a $.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's getting harder.
It's getting harder. Purdue Urbane. And...
whatever the fuck, Pod 19. Ben 19.
Ben 19, the Fennel Maker. Yeah.
I feel good about that one. There's been some controversy.
Yeah.
All right. People were upset that they didn't
We've been
have
accused
the
of vote
option
fixing.
Of using Osama Ben Hasley.
Whatever.
I don't think.
But that was the funny thing. That thread, it was like, you cowards, Osama Ben Hasley. You idiots, it should be Osama Ben Laden. Like, they couldn't decide on what it was.
Right. Yeah, way to prove our point. Also, I feel like they're treating us like we're the DNC. And like Osama Ben Hasley was like Bernie Sanders, and we suppressed the people's choice.
And they're right.
But for a reason.
Right. For a reason.
Exactly. Ben didn't want to.
I don't want to be synonymous with this horrible terrorist figure. I mean, it's just not. It's not a funny joke.
But did you hear about how he liked
Bernie or Bin Laden? Which one?
Oh, come on! Did you hear about how he liked Final Fantasy 7 or what? I don't know. I can't remember.
I saw he liked all these weird like 16-bit sexy ROMs. That's weird, right?
Did you see that?
No.
He liked like
ASCII porn.
No, but like 16-bit, like pixelated, like Leisure Suit Larry style, like when people made like
I guess he was
sexy
an older
poker
guy.
for like the Commodore or whatever. Seriously,
he had a Coleco.
That's what it was.
All right.
You should look up the artwork. Sounds pretty good.
This is, my friends used to make fun of me because when I was in high school, someone mentioned, they were reading some history book and they were like, oh, apparently Hitler was a major lover of cinema and he used to have like a huge library and he would watch one movie a day, like at the absolute minimum. And I was like, huh? And they were like, what? Because I sort of gave him like a contented, like, oh, wow, that's really, that's cool.
Yeah. Apparently Hitler was very active on Letterboxd.
All right. Jesus, we're off the rails.
This is a later episode recording for us.
This is a real After Dark.
The sun has set.
episode.
This is a blank check after dark.
Oh, God.
A BCAD, if you will.
Yeah, Bacad.
Schwarzenegger.
Yeah,
was who the studio wanted.
Yeah, and Rucky.
Right.
They're too big. They designed this suit that they couldn't move around in.
But they didn't even have the suit that established at this point. But what they knew was the suit was going to add bulk to whoever it was.
Sure. Right.
So they said, if we put a big guy in the suit, he's going to look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. If we find a really live guy,
right,
a guy who looks about as far away from an action hero as we can make his proportions just right to build the mass on top of him.
Right.
So they said the two things they were looking for were a real solid actor. They said they were really worried because they thought no one would want to take the job.
It's a tough job.
Most of your face is covered. It's kind of thankless. It's difficult. For a lot of the film, you're suppressing emotions.
Yeah.
But Peter Weller read the script and got it. He saw what the arc was. He saw what he could do with it. And the other thing was, dude has a great fucking mouth.
An incredible jaw.
Right.
Just an insanely good jaw.
And they knew that. They said we need someone who has that right sliver underneath their nose between their chin.
Did they make him read for the part?
I
just
hope
with
so.
Like this part of his face
fucking
covered?
hope so.
That would be so funny.
He hadn't been in that many movies.
Had Buckaroo Banzai already happened?
Yeah, that's 84.
And that was
which
Orion as
he's
well.
astonishingly good in, and I love that movie.
But he's a very cerebral kind of leading man in it. Is not the kind of guy you would place into this sort of film.
Apart from that, I don't know much about his earlier movies. Firstborn, A Killing Affair. These are not movies I'm like that familiar with.
I'm gonna fuck this up as
Unknown
well.
Origin,
but also
George P. Cosmatos movie.
in the commentary, I think Ed Neumeier refers to his absurd pathos.
Sure.
There's something about him that looks very sad, and he's got this sort of like his voice is a little like.
Well, his voice is really special,
right?
Yeah.
But there is an innate sort of. He's got a bit of like an American Liam Neeson thing, where there's just a sense of longing to him, which Buckaroo Banzai really runs with.
Yes.
That works really well for this movie.
You know, apart from Naked Lunch, I feel like he is underserved, and Buckaroo Banzai by cinema.
Agree.
Like, it's not like he's had enough great roles.
He was
a villain on 24, which he was good on. He was always good.
He's the villain in Star Trek Into Darkness, which he's totally wasted in.
He's fine in it. I mean,
it is bizarre though for a guy who gave 3 great leading performances in 3 very revered movies of 3 different kinds, that it never really happened again.
Yeah.
That he never went into a kind of cool older character actor phase.
Yeah, not really. Maybe he's
mostly like an Italian architecture art history professor now. Seriously.
I know. He also directs TV.
He directs a lot of TV.
And, you're right. He has a PhD in Italian Renaissance art history.
Thank you.
I wasn't denying it. I was just laughing at the
He's apparently a great teacher.
Yeah, cool.
Go to ratemyteacher.com, look up Robert Kopp. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
All right, I'll get the door this time.
Okay, but I'm also going to go to the bathroom while you get the door.
Great. All right, opening the door.
Creak.
Griffin's gone.
Is this a podcast?
Just for the listener, a robot cop has walked into...
Robert Kopp. My name is Robert Kopp.
Well, I wasn't saying your name, just what you were.
Nice to meet you.
We're shaking hands. Just you got a good grip.
Thank you.
What's up, Robert?
Well, I'm in need of great talent for my business, but short on time.
What's your business?
Art history, Italian Renaissance art history.
Okay, that's a business. Okay, great.
I don't want to get lost in a huge stack of resumes.
To find like the perfect hire.
I was lost for 9 months.
Wow, in a
buried
stack
in
of
a
resumes?
pyramid of resumes.
Okay, well,
I need the right tools, smarter tools.
Well, what if you could just post the job you're trying to hire for onto a website?
Italian Renaissance art history TA.
Why don't you use ZipRecruiter? They'll post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with just one click.
One click?
And then ZipRecruiter, have you heard of ZipRecruiter? They're going to actively look for the most qualified candidates, and they're going to invite them to apply to your job.
Well, with quotes and statistics like that, no wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day.
Did you do all those calculations on the spot?
Math computes.
Wow. All right. So you're saying I'm saying the ZipRecruiter is the smartest way to hire.
Hold on 1 second. Let me data spike
yes.
here.
Can you put that through your computer just to... Yeah. Noisy data spike.
Ben.
What's up?
Do you have a USB outlet? I think I should. This doesn't seem to...
Oh.
I could do a USB.
Yeah, right here. Right here.
Just
put it in
over
here.
Here you go.
Okay, ready?
Oh
my God.
Wow.
What's your conclusion, Robert?
It's weird. There are a lot of Garfield gifs on this computer.
No, don't look through my personal stuff.
Well, my conclusion is that I should find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by businesses of all sizes and industries to find the most qualified job candidates with immediate results.
Well, right now, our listeners can post jobs in ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. You just go to ZipRecruiter.com/blank.
You leave it blank?
No, that's ZipRecruiter.com/blank.
Type
One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/blank.
And that sounds phenomenal.
That's right. So ZipRecruiter.com/blank.
Thank you very much, sir. You are clearly suffering emotional distress. I will report you to the nearest job recruitment website.
You got my number, Robert.
See, that was a variation on my famous...
Your catchphrase.
I'm Robert Cop.
It's nice to meet you, Robert.
Italian art history professor.
Oh, Griffin's back.
Oh, hey, Robert, how are you doing? I'm doing well. Nice to see you, Griffin, my best friend. That is canon. That I, RoboCop, am best friends with you, Griffin. Of course, why are you saying this? It's way too performative. Everyone knows this. I'll see you later. We're going to hang out. We hang out every night. We're really cool and we're nice friends. Slam. Did I miss anything good?
It just, just Robert was...
he will not stop pestering me. He keeps on coming by every day at work. Anyway, they cast Peter Weller, and Peter Weller takes to it, and he goes, I want to fucking make this work. I have, like, a real serious background, as an actor. I come out of theater. I did extensive training. I understand what the limitations of this role are, and I want to make it sing. So he buys himself all sorts of rugby equipment, padding, heavy outfits, goes to the park every day and practices walking around in physically encumbered ways, right? Yep. They hire a company to design the suit. They aren't happy with the suit. So they throw
comes late.
Right. They throw a flyer out to Robotine, who comes up with this fucking incredible suit under short notice.
It is incredible. And the design of the helmet especially is amazing.
Perfect. It's like the exact perfect level of design.
Yeah.
It's just detailed enough. It's got just enough going on while still being very clean, very iconic, very elemental, right?
I really agree.
So they bring this suit and they filmed a couple weeks, I think 2 weeks without Weller in the suit. Either stuff with other characters or some of the Murphy stuff, right?
Right.
Although there isn't much of it at the beginning of the film, which is one of the things I like about it.
Yeah.
So it's 2 weeks in when they actually put him on the suit in the first day. And they have him come in at like 4 o'clock in the morning in order to start getting into the suit, which I think they said was going to take 11 hours.
Wait, it takes him 11 hours every day?
The first day.
Okay, all right.
The first day, 11 hours, they put him in the thing, and he can't move.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot move.
Yeah, no, this I know that it was all like, again, wasn't his expectation at all.
And he was freaking the fuck out. And he said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this for months. What the fuck is going to happen?
Right.
And they flipped out. He wanted to quit. They wanted to shut down the movie. And he reaches out to his college...
His movement teacher.
His mime coach.
Yes.
Whose name is Nomi something, I think?
I can probably
something
find
Nomi.
her.
I think it's a man, but I might be wrong about that.
Moni Yakim, the head of the movement department at Juilliard.
Thank you. He was a Juilliard dude.
Right. They had envisioned RoboCop moving like a snake.
Very smooth.
But instead, they slowed it down into this sort of clunky, Frankenstein-y kind of
Because what Moni said is, look, you're not going to have that agility. You're not going to have that fluidity that you planned. What you need to do is make the most of what you have. And the thing you can do that's really powerful is to make every move as deliberate as possible.
Sure, yes.
Every single movement has to happen one piece at a time. So because of that, they established the whole RoboCop look, which is not planned, which is an accident, which is the key to this fucking movie, and ties into what you're saying about it not being as much of an action movie as the other things.
Right.
Because you have an action movie starring a guy with the same level of agility as present-day Liam Neeson.
Sure.
Who's big and lumbering and rickety.
Sure, yeah.
And doesn't move around space as well. So it becomes kind of like he's an action hero in a sort of Western way, where it's about him standing in one spot where he aims his gun. Mm-hmm. It's about the intimidation more than anything else.
It's about the intimidation, but obviously also, this is not a movie where action is like a direct line to a good consequence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, RoboCop...
He'd rather not act. He'd rather just hand out parking tickets.
Well, okay. No, I more means like they deploy RoboCop and he, leaves chaos basically wherever he is deployed. He smashes things up and things blow up and
he's almost unstoppable.
Causes extensive property damage. Right.
The action sequences don't have that much tension.
There is no stakes except when the cops are all fighting him. Because he just sort of stands there. He's sort of Superman-esque.
Yes,
but slow
until we find his kryptonite, which is D4, baby.
Also, or just shooting like 100 guns at him.
Also known as D4.
Okay. So
Corporate
RoboCop.
America's gun. Directive 4.
Yeah, so they make So they make this movie.
Yes.
Filmed from August to October 1986.
In Dallas, Texas.
I was a young boy. I was an infant.
I was not born yet.
Yes.
I was waiting. I did not want to live in a pre-RoboCop world, so I said, keep me in the oven for a couple more years, then I'll come out.
Yeah, you had an unusual 3-year gestation.
My mom was pregnant for 3 years. And for that, I am sorry. Truly sorry. They filmed it in Dallas. It
mostly
was
in Dallas.
Boiling hot.
Yes, they also filmed some the mill stuff is in Pennsylvania.
Yes, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think so.
And they said they're little tiny bit in Long Beach, but it was mostly shot on location. They didn't have the money for sets. The precinct, I think, is mostly a high school.
Interesting.
Which imagine going to that fucking high school. Be the coolest. The steel mill is Pittsburgh, though. All of that stuff. Yeah, and then the couple of soundstage stuff. But you know, Ed Neumeyer said, like, the pressure was always, do we have the courage to stick with RoboCop as a title? Because when you say it, people think it sounds dumb.
Really?
And people write off the movie as, oh, it's some like genre canon exploitation junk, right? But we knew what we were making.
Right.
And we said, if we can make it through with the film still called RoboCop and stick to our guns, once people have seen it, they'll love it.
It is a real B-movie title. Yeah.
Right. And the movie comes out and is a surprise hit.
We'll get to that.
Surprisingly well received, has only grown in critical circles since then, nominated for several Academy Awards, which was very unexpected.
Yeah, although not for Best Makeup, which drives me fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's insane.
He was nominated for 3 Oscars, but not
editing, it wins
for
sound,
visual effects or makeup. And visual effects, you know, whatever. I'm not sure if
the stop motion stuff in this movie was great.
It's very cool, but that's back. There were only 2 nominees. You know, that's back when I think it was like a juried award.
What the fuck was nominated for makeup this year?
There were 2 nominees.
Okay.
The winner was Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
It's Rick Baker.
I know, but go fuck yourself.
Harry and the Hendersons.
Okay. And what's the other nominee?
Because according to science, Bigfoot doesn't exist.
Yeah, I know.
But when you believe your eyes, trust your heart. I don't know. I was trying to read that.
And what lost that year? I like only 2 nominees means that there's literally just a winner and the loser.
Happy New Year.
Okay, what the fuck?
The John G. Avildsen movie where like it has like a lot of old age makeup and shit. Like it's got like Charles Durning and like crazy like waxy old age makeup.
Well, I like Charlie Durning.
So, but isn't that weird? Because like
insane.
like Joanna was marveling. Like you know the scenes where his head is off, his mask is off.
I think that's the most emotionally charged moment of the entire film because of how good and striking that image is.
How did they pull that off?
I will tell you when we get to it.
Oh, fucking hell. What do I even ask?
Okay, so how does this movie start? The way all good movies start, with giant letters that say RoboCop.
That's how Citizen Kane starts, right? It's
RoboCop. The best way to start a movie.
And then if you pan over Xanadu.
Helicopter shot of Detroit skyline, and then dun, dun, dun.
Now I'm going to guess you like the music in this movie.
My boy,
say his name,
Basil Polidorus.
Yeah.
Very hot nice off of Flesh and Blood. Ooh.
Sure.
And Verhoeven said he worked really fucking hard in the score. They were working on the score before they started filming because he knew he needed a real fucking rousing theme. And he didn't want to sound...
Conan guy.
Yes.
He did the Conan music.
But he didn't want an action movie score. The thing he kept on saying, Basil Polidorus, is make it sound like Lawrence of Arabia.
Sure, right.
I want a sweeping emotional epic.
I want a sweeping emotional epic.
I want a good propulsive heroic theme that I can repurpose for more emotional scenes, for tenser scenes, but I want a classical sounding score.
This episode's going to be 4 hours long.
Which this movie has. We're literally just on the opening title.
For fuck's sake. He's running wild.
Dun, dun, dun.
And now Griffin will perform the opening theme.
RoboCop. RoboCop.
Here we are.
His name is RoboCop.
No, it was not inviting whatever this
Robert
is.
Cobb. That was his name. Changed it to RoboCop.
Oh, God.
RoboCop. Neumeyer said, the trend with these movies at the time was you always started with a big action set piece. You wanted the immediate stakes of the first attack, here's the hero's entrance, whatever it is, right? You always start with a first mission. This movie goes from awesome musical sting, fucking big silver letters RoboCop, to a news broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Which already...
I love this shit.
Love this shit. But this shows you this movie is just like not fucking around. Like it's It has no interest, despite how much Verhoeven was studying American action films, in playing by the exact rules of what everyone else is doing.
Right.
It states its intention right up front. And it's also this brilliant way to fucking get exposition out in a world building way to establish the rules without having to do inner titles of like, the year is 2049. Blade
Doesn't
Runners.
do that shit.
Yeah, you know? But also, there is an element of show don't tell in that the news broadcasts are so stylized. The way they talk about what they're talking about tells you so much about the state of the world.
I love it. The shit they're saying.
I always forget that it's really Lisa Gibbons, which is amazing because if it wasn't her, it would have been someone doing an impression of her.
Right.
But you just get a couple news stories. You get a state of how dire things are. This weird disconnect with how performative the media is, you know, even more so than today.
Right.
Them all laughing and smiling and sort of like 15 are dead.
Yep.
Right.
And then they immediately cut to an ad every time something crazy. Right. They say something crazy.
Right. The Yamaha Sports Heart,
yep.
which is amazing. The Robo Heart. And then we get, so now, like, you're watching the movie, you're a 12-year-old boy, one ticket for RoboCop, please. I want the movie about the RoboCop, right? And then you sit down and the movie starts giving you a news broadcast and then it goes, we'll be right back after these commercials. And then you're watching a commercial. Like, it's committing so hard to this fake broadcast thing. And then you come back and they give you the basic deal. Looming threats of a police strike.
Yes.
Cops are dying on the force every day. They're becoming disenfranchised.
Crime is on the rampant rise.
Old Detroit has a cancer. The cancer is crime.
Yep. And Omni Consumer Products,
OCP,
is
very
involved with Detroit, has been contracted, and
they bought the police.
Essentially, right, to run the police.
Right. It's capitalism run wild.
Sure.
And their big plan is to essentially just kind of get rid of Detroit, build this new Delta City.
They want to build Delta City over Detroit.
They want Detroit to be a write-off, right?
They want to hyper-gentrify. Yes, Ben?
And wouldn't you say that during the filming of this era of America, this is the crack epidemic. This is really when,
this is the
New
middle
York
of
City,
the Reagan
Detroit,
era.
Crime is really rampant.
The presentational,
and scary.
all smiles, war on drugs.
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
And also, what's the Reagan line? Fuck. Worst thing about government. What the hell? All right, I'll look it up.
I find that interesting. I think this film is in a really interesting dialogue with the time it was made in. But I also think there are so many different points baked into the cake of this film. And the points it gets out about the American psyche are so timeless. They're not connected to any one administration because they're tied to like the mortal sins of our being. That this film always finds some purchase.
The mortal sins of our being.
I'm fucking going there, baby.
Come on.
RoboCop's the American Jesus. He died for our sins. He's walking on water.
This is very tied to the 80s.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. That's the famous Reagan inauguration speech.
Right, and Old Detroit has a cancer, and a cancer's crime.
So, a lot of the early stuff is at OCP.
Yeah, you know me. But
he's out of control.
It's great.
Yes, thank you.
We're gonna be here all day.
Ben loves it.
Day? You mean night?
Start at day, end at night.
No, start at night, end at real late night. I don't know.
That's after dark, baby.
We're starting at like, fucking Leno, and we're gonna end it daily.
I got it.
Last call.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
It's like we're starting at Madhow and we're ending at the liar Brian Williams, the 11th hour.
Look, can we just all agree on one thing?
God. Yeah, sure.
Old Detroit is a cancer. The cancer is crime.
So we're intercutting between the cops, I guess, and OCP, right?
Yes.
In these early scenes.
So we have the old man, the head of the board. That's his only name.
That's his only name. He's in at least RoboCop 2, right?
So do you know this?
Yeah, gotta say more.
I've never seen RoboCop 2 or 3.
Okay, sure. Never.
Now, I'm a completist with shit,
But
as you know.
I know of you complaining about how RoboCop 2 like resets RoboCop.
I have tried watching RoboCop 2 a number of times. I never make it past the 15 minutes because the reset bums me out so much.
I've never seen 3.
3 doesn't even have Weller in it.
I know. 3, which is the Sam Decker, I believe is
Fred
Decker,
who's the Monster Squad guy. And 2 is Irvin Kershner.
I know. It's his last movie, I believe.
I think that's right.
And 2, I think, is basically just RoboCop again. You know, it's like very similar. And whereas 3 is like rated PG-13, and I think is and obviously Weller's not in it,
it's
so
a lot cartoonier.
It's more aimed at kids. And it's interesting. I read an interview with Decker when I was poking around for this podcast.
Yeah.
Where he was like, you know, people say we didn't have the budget or the studio was controlling me and that's why it's bad. No, it's my fault.
Yeah, right.
You know, like he's pretty on board. You know, like I made the movie I wanted to make and it was bad.
And that killed his career.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. But what was the thing I was going to say? Oh, Frank Miller, who was a big fan of the original RoboCop. He wrote
both sequels.
Well, so he wrote a script for RoboCop 2 and they pulled it apart and used about half of his script. And then for RoboCop 3, they repurposed the other half. They got 2 scripts out of him and he was always angry. Which is, what a surprise, Frank Miller angry at the world.
Yeah, well, the other thing, though, is like he used to have it was like the legendary RoboCop sequel script that Frank Miller wrote that was so good. And then he published it as a comic book and it was fucking terrible.
Agreed.
And it was like, fuck you, Frank Miller. Oh, yeah, you always sucked. He didn't always suck, but you sucked for a long time.
Yes, but I read that published book. It is bad.
Very bad.
Is bad. It's like, what if RoboCop was Sin
What's
City?
good?
RoboCop, the movie Robert Cop. The old man, Dan O'Hurley.
Yeah.
Who's the sort of kind grandfatherly figure at the head of the table.
Yeah, but even he's pretty fucked up.
Well, that's what I like about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but they treat him like he's this nice.
Hey, the old man, he's a monster.
Right. But the real dickhead is Dick Jones.
Played by Ronnie Cox.
In a career-changing performance, because this sets him on the villain path.
Man.
He was a sweet kind of grandfatherly man.
I think of Bound for Glory.
Yeah, he's great in that.
He's in Beverly Hills Cop, obviously. What else is he in? He's in Deliverance, obviously.
Yes.
He's the sort of nerdy one with glasses who gets he eats it on the falls.
He's the first to go.
Yeah, he's the first to go. He doesn't even get to see the rape, or does he?
No, he was lucky.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he does Total Recall after this, and he becomes a villain guy.
Yeah, he becomes a classic 80s villain, I think.
Yeah.
And he's Jellicoe in Star Trek The Next Generation, which is a great character, who's also villainous-ish.
They're trying to figure out how to deal with this cop problem.
Ends justify the means kind of guy. Yes.
Dick Jones has a big initiative.
But this is all being given to us in like 1 minute, because there's the elevator ride.
Yes.
Where they're like, yeah, he's got the plan and we had the backup plan. You know, where they just sort of like make that really clear really fast.
Right. Because we also have Morton.
Miguel Ferrer.
Yes. Who's kind of nipping at Dick Jones's heels.
A little bit.
Right. This is the rat race. You know, they're all trying to get up at top, be sitting on the old man's lap, right?
Right.
And Dick Jones has this big move, Ed 209. It's a weird chicken robot.
Yes, it's a little chicken walker.
With little gun T-Rex arms. It looks fucking rad. Beautiful stop motion from Phil Tippett.
I would say it's very cool stop motion, yes.
Yeah, and then once it stops moving, it's a real fucking full-size build thing, which you can tell. It has viscerality even when it's not moving.
Oh, for sure. And when it's moving around, it looks really cute by our today's standards, but I do like it, yes.
But I also like they animate it in a cute way. They make him like a baby who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah, well, I love this movie. It is
the
weird.
Greatest movie ever made?
Yeah, it is weird that it's like that's their first idea and RoboCop is their second idea because the chicken robot can't even climb the stairs. You know, it's like...
But Dick Jones is an asshole.
I know.
He doesn't know what he's fucking doing.
No, I mean, his plan, as he basically says...
Corporate negligence run amok.
Is like, who cares if it doesn't work or kills people?
Right.
We already sold the contract. Who fucking cares?
Thank you.
But in this public demonstration...
Yes.
And this is when... So when did you... We were talking off mic. You know, when did you first see this movie? I watched this movie
when I was very young. I used to watch the RoboCop cartoon show.
Yes, I watched that too.
There was an Alvin and the Chipmunks RoboCop parody that I loved. Do you remember?
No, I don't remember that.
The 8th and final season of the Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoon show in the 80s was rebranded as Chipmunks Go to the Movies, and every episode was a full-length parody of a popular movie from the time. So they did like Bat-Monk, Honey, I Monked the Kids... I swear to God, these are what they're fucking called.
Yeah, no, I believe you.
And there was a Robo-Monk one that was a pretty straight retelling of RoboCop, but without the violence.
Right.
Instead of guns, they used bubble gum. And it was him in one of the chipettes, and he becomes Robo-Monk, right? And I loved that. So I had this like appreciation of RoboCop from afar, and I remember sneaking it, watching it on my little rabbit ear TV Sunday morning. WB11, a heavily edited version when I was probably 10 years old.
Okay.
And then when I was in high school, I saw it on like cable in full. I had these distant memories of it. My friend Colin was like obsessed with RoboCop, was talking about it all the time. And I was like, I gotta fucking rewatch that. Watched it and was like, oh, this is the best movie ever made. And that launched my like RoboCop obsession that's been going on for almost 15 years now.
But it's just with this movie, to be clear. You never watched the sequels.
I watched the cartoon show when it was on. I never watched the live action show. I didn't watch the sequels.
Did you watch
see the remake? I did.
What did you think of the remake?
I hate it.
Okay. I've never seen it.
That's the one. I'm usually pretty like, look, you remake stuff, it doesn't ruin the original. That's the one where I get really fucking angry about it. It doesn't ruin anything, but I get like physically enraged. There are a couple good things in it.
How do you feel about like if you got like your criterions all set up and then there's a steelbook?
Do not even.
All right. So, but this
Can I tell you something?
I don't know.
This is. I need to.
I don't know if you can tell me something at this point.
I need to admit this because this has been weighing really heavily on me.
Okay.
I went on my infamous anti-steelbook tirade.
Yeah, you fucking.
I broke the internet, right?
You know. You broke. Yeah, that's when you broke the internet.
Yeah. International headlines.
What's a steelbook?
Who fucking cares?
A steelbook is a limited.
I'll show you.
It's like a collectible form of DVD or Blu-ray packaging that's like literally a steel book that the disc is inside.
You know, it's got this kind of,
like
hey, look, there's
case.
your favorite movie in steelbook form.
Nice.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Love Wreck-It Ralph.
Ben just saw Wreck-It Ralph.
You fucking loved it. Yeah. Big.
I cried a lot.
I cried too at Wreck-It Ralph. That's a wonderful movie.
What Ben texted the other night about King Candy, and he's texted us at about 3 a.m.
We're like our fifth tangent.
He's sad. N, he sucks. Letter N, he sucks. But don't let him trick you. He'd call you a glitch in a heartbeat.
I woke up at whatever time I wake up, 7:30 in the morning, basically.
Humble brag.
And my phone had like 18 text notifications, and it was you guys talking about Wreck-It Ralph at 4 in the fucking morning.
I knew that Griffin was going to be up, and I needed to tell somebody about.
I know.
My
it's all good. I was just sad I missed it.
He knew I was awake, and he knew there was a 25% chance I was watching Wreck-It Ralph.
All right, okay. But I was just going to say, or are you still on some tangent that you have to wrap up?
Oh, yes.
Steelbook.
Jesus Christ.
Since that episode where I went on my steelbook tirade, I bought like 7 steelbooks.
7?
I've been buying a lot of steelbooks
What
lately.
steelbooks?
I got Fate of the Furious and a nice new steelbook.
Jesus. I will never own that movie.
Well, I have them all.
Uh-huh.
And I need them all lined up on my shelf with similar spines because I had the rest of the Fast and Furious franchise in steelbook except for 5 because the 5 one was hard to find. Or the 7. 7 was limited. Finally found the 7. I got Nice Space Friends Volume 2 on steelbook. I got Starship Troopers on steelbook.
Interesting. I bought that on 4K Ultra or whatever.
My friend, I bought it on 4K steelbook.
Well, you always gotta have bigger balls than me, don't you?
It's a steelbook with Nazi-style propaganda art.
Oh, Jesus.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Nice Space Friends Part 2. I bought Wonder Woman on steelbook.
Well,
I think I got one more that I'm forgetting now. Find a lot of steelbooks.
Great.
Is my point, my friend.
All right. Well, my point way back 10 minutes ago was when I'm first watching this movie, when I'm probably, I would guess, I can't remember exactly, but 14, 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure I'm watching it on, your premium.
Sure.
Or no, actually, it was probably in Britain, so it was just a channel, but there's no editing for violence
before
in
this.
Britain.
It was cut down, certainly in the States, for violence. It was rated X originally, cut down. And since then, the original cut's kind of been phased out with the director's cut, which is the X-rated cut. It's only a difference about a minute or two. It's just the extremity of the violence.
Yeah. To be clear, the X-rated cut was never released. That was just the original rating. And then there were 11 appeals before it got an R. Yeah. Because this movie is crazy violent. Yeah. And when the ED-209 lights up the poor guy.
Paul Ahmed.
Yep. And like 4 billion squibs explode and he spurts blood everywhere.
This guy was on I Was There Too recently, and he holds the record for the most squibbed actor.
It's insane how bloody his death is.
What's the number?
He couldn't remember. He said it took 2 days to film his shooting.
Oh my
Not
God.
2 days to film the boardroom.
Yeah, right.
2 days to film just the amount of angles, the amount of squibs, and the amount of time it would take to reset.
Right, of course. That's the real problem. Right. You have to clean so much shit up and he has to change.
But this is like a psycho shower scene number of cuts within this. Like they cut
it's true.
so many times really, for the script.
That's the thing.
Yes.
That moment is when the movie is first like, this is how viscerally violent this movie is going to be. Like in a shocking way.
And this is Verhoeven's whole thing is like the violence is cartoonish, but I'm going to push it so far that it affects you on a visceral level and upsets you, and you can't just write it off as like,
exactly.
Oh, it's a comic
Which is
book.
something he does again in Starship Troopers, especially. And which I love.
Love it.
But when I'm 15, I think I'm like pretty freaked out.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Or when I'm watching this with Joanna the other night, she's like, whoa! Like, it always sort of takes you aback the first time.
Right. And when you're young and you're watching it, you're like, this movie's so corny and over the top because the responses afterwards are so bizarre.
Yeah.
If you have a critical mind,
right,
you understand immediately what
like,
he's angling at.
Someone call a goddamn paramedic is a hilarious line.
Amazing.
And then...
Dick, I'm very disappointed.
I love that line. So that is the ED to when I'm fucking up. So Miguel Ferrer, who is Oscar worthy in this movie.
So fucking good.
Absolutely the perfect 80s boardroom guy.
You one bad motherfucker.
I love Miguel Ferrer all the time.
I do too.
Who doesn't love Miguel Ferrer? R.I.P. Truly tragic loss.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's just incredible.
He's spot on.
It's one of those things where you almost think he's in the entire movie. Like every time I always forget, he kind of dies like halfway through the movie.
Well, and here's this other interesting thing. There's this whole chunk of the movie where RoboCop stops being a protagonist.
Yeah, he's not really in the movie. Yeah,
and it sort of becomes Bob Morton's movie for like 25 minutes.
And then it shifts back to RoboCop. But yes.
Right, which I think is a really ballsy move this movie makes, which is like it decenters you in terms of what narrative you're following.
Well, and also not just that you're rooting for him.
Yes.
Because you don't like Ronnie Cox.
He sucks.
You do kind of like Miguel Ferrer.
And he brought us RoboCop. He's our friend. He brouut a good guy.
And yet, of course,
if Ronnie Cox succeeded, we'd be watching an Ed 209 movie.
We, through the dialogue, kind of figure out that like not only do they have this crazy Frankenstein plot, but that they like transfer Peter Weller, what's his name, Murphy, to this new precinct because he's a prime candidate for RoboCop. Purposely. They want him to die.
He's such a good, decent guy.
Yeah, exactly. But he has like the right mental and physical.
Is such a hero cop that they know he will sacrifice himself for the name of justice.
They're putting him in the line of fire.
Okay, so now we come to our friends, Clarence, Boddicker, and the gang. I guess we should mention Murphy shows up, transferred in.
Yeah.
Robert DeKey, a fucking phenomenal character actor, died a couple years ago.
Plays the desk sergeant.
Also in Nashville. Rules in Nashville.
Rules in this.
Yes. Sergeant Reed, who I fucking love. Because this is a character that like could just be the gruff.
Yeah, sure.
A badge on my table. But they give him a little more.
I also love that scene where they're clearing out that guy's locker. And, they sort of sadly slide his name off of it. And he's like, I don't want anyone to talk about strike. And
because he walks in, I could analyze every single millisecond of this movie.
All right.
But first of all, we're in a gender-neutral locker room.
Yeah.
This is this weird kind of like passively...
Which he'll do again in Starship Troopers.
Right, which he said he felt like it didn't register in in RoboCop. So
it registers in Starship Troopers.
But that's what's amazing is he was like, I had this whole idea that it's post-sexual and there's no discrepancy between the genders and they can be in the room together naked. But I felt like audiences didn't get it, so I did it again in Starship Troopers.
And I made sure they got it. I really made sure they got it.
Love Starship Troopers. In Starship Troopers, it's so overcooked. Yes. In this, it's beautiful just how offhanded it is.
Yeah, and I mean, and then the Nancy Allen character in general, we first see her beating up a perp.
Yes.
Pretty brutally. And, it's pretty casual about how, everyone's together.
She holds her own. And it's a thing I love about this movie. This is one of the only...
Wait, do you like this movie?
RoboCop?
Yeah, Robert Cop.
Robert Cop, yes, I do.
Okay.
A thing I love about this movie, this is like... one of the only films, certainly like genre films like this, I've ever seen where it never becomes romantic between the lead male and the lead female.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not really looking for romance there, that's for sure.
No, but often,
then
in the last act it happens and you're like,
well, especially in like your 80s genre movies for sure, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then something like Beverly Hills Cop where they don't end up together and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. It only happened because the studio was racist. Truly.
Yeah, no, I know.
They cast a white actress because they thought it was going to be Stallone.
I know.
But this movie, they like by design, they said, RoboCop, it's Paradise Lost. Like once he becomes RoboCop,
right.
He
doesn't really have much of like a body.
And he's not going to move on,
Yeah.
And you don't want to see him become sexual. And so it becomes a film about mutual respect between these two good cops.
Sure.
Which I love.
All right.
Good movie.
So we've been introduced to Murphy transferring into this Hell Precinct.
Right, and he's got just
and
a
being
real
partnered with
cool,
Lewis.
calm demeanor, no confidence, no confidence, no arrogance.
No arrogance,
just quiet
very
confidence.
calm. He does like to drive.
Yes.
That's his one kind
Break in
of
a new
swinging dick
partner.
move.
And his other swinging dick move is the TJ laser.
Well, I was about to get to that, but then she sort of Bigfoots him on that the second time around, which I like. But yes, and then he's doing this thing where he's twirling the gun like a Western
My kid
guy.
watches the show.
He watches TJ Laser.
Right. TJ Laser. Lewis is chewing gum, which I think is where RoboMonk got the inspiration.
Sure.
He's blowing some bubbles.
Great.
And they go to investigate this Boddicker.
Yeah.
High-speed pursuit.
Yeah, not even investigate. It's just there's a high-speed pursuit and they're put on it.
Right.
Yeah. And Boddicker is played by the great Kurtwood Smith.
Yeah.
In both cases, he's casting these villains who are totally against type.
Yes.
I love that Boddicker looks like a weird little treasury agent. Like, he looks like a nerd.
Yes. So,
what is Kurtwood Smith's life at
before
this time? Yeah, because
I don't
obviously
know.
we all think of him as Red.
right. That's the big thing, which,
Talking about Eric's dad?
yes. But the fact that he became Eric's dad only helps this movie. Like, it helps his performance that you're
yeah.
like, why is Eric's dad this evil?
He's barely been in anything. This is his first big role.
They say on the commentary that he improvised a large percentage
so
of his
good.
dialogue.
He was a
like all
stage
the
actor.
iconic lines are him. They said they would just let him go. And like the Tigers playing tonight, guns, guns, guns. Can you fly, Bobby? All that shit's improvised.
Right.
Newmeyer said he wrote a lot of kind of like stock, overwritten bad guy intimidation.
Yeah, right.
He knew he wanted Boddicker to be against type.
Right.
He liked the idea of him being a sort of pencil pusher, white collar looking dude who had this menace in him, which I think is this really interesting take on this sort of banality of evil. You know, not just, it's all these boardroom guys are the real villains.
Banality of evil is strong. But yes, sure. The universality, I guess, or whatever. It could be anyone.
That he just looks like some fucking dude. And
Well,
that he
right,
isn't.
but I consider banality of evil to me, which is like Hannah Arendt's term, that means more like your Eichmann types who like don't think of themselves as evil but do evil things.
Okay.
Like, you know, it's like the pencil pusher behind. Like,
I would say the aesthetic banality of evil.
Okay, fine. Sure. Yeah. Because he is, to be clear, a total crazy person.
And he loves being bad.
Yes.
And he's bad to the bone.
He's real crazy.
And Verhoeven said he picked those glasses because he wanted him to look like Himmler.
Yeah, yes.
And Newmeyer, on this commentary track recorded 15 years later, is like, wait, really? I just thought you thought they looked nerdy. And he was like, no, I want you to look like a Nazi.
Oh, God. So I guess he is going for the banality of evil.
Right. Thank you.
Don't shriek. No, I mean, yeah. I think the quote unquote design of Boddicker is perfect.
Well, and that Kurtwood Smith doesn't feel any need to play against his appearance. What's scary about him is that you're like, why is this guy so fucking confident?
Yeah,
he looks
definitely,
like a math
right.
teacher.
And I mean, the whole gang is pretty crazy.
Paul McCrane, Ray Wise.
Paul McCrane, who is not another bald man. They've got two baldies.
He's at a terrible state of balding in this film.
A crazy
and then they
state
give
of
him
balding.
this weird gelled part.
But there's like this sort of like furry area. It's not even hair, but it's sort of a design.
He's got a tuft, but they're doing a lot with the tuft. And then his weird Matrix beard.
Yeah, he's short. And
he's a ginger.
Yeah, he's just got. But I love Paul McCrane, to be clear.
I do too.
Love him.
Emil.
So you got him, and what is he like 5'6" and 120? Like he just. Yeah. Why would he be intimidating? Then
He's griff size. He's griff size.
You got Ray Wise, who's awesome.
Rolls.
Love him.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
But even he kind of looks like a club promoter. Like he doesn't really look like a violent gangster.
Well, it's even like you like think about him in like Twin Peaks, and it's like, okay, he's like kind of unnerving in Twin Peaks, but it's also just like because he's like the dad, like he's the kind of like intense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's so special, Ray Wise, in general. I mean, he is the devil. I think that's the clearest way to put it, right? He just kind of looks like the devil.
But
and then,
also,
of course, they made him the devil or whatever he was in fucking Reaper.
Right. But he's the devil in the body of your girlfriend's father.
Right.
Like, that's what's scary about him is you're just like, this guy's judging me so much. I love your daughter. I have the best intentions.
And then
truly
you've got,
unhinged. His work on Tim and Eric is some of the best.
Yeah.
Very good.
Like cameo appearances on that show.
So
good.
I once went as +1 to the Saturn Awards. You know, like the genre award show, which happens in like a hotel ballroom. Right. Which I want to throw this down right now. I believe in letting the work speak for itself. I'm going to campaign so fucking hard for a Saturn Award this year.
Yeah, get a Saturn.
I think that's potentially attainable.
I don't know, man. Peak TV makes it tough. I'm with you. I want you to get a Saturn Award.
I'm saying Best Supporting Actress last year at the Saturns was someone on The Flash.
The Flash is good.
So is The Tick. I think I can get a fucking Saturn nomination. I'm going to work really hard on it.
Blowing out the mics.
What's the award? Is it rings?
God. It's a trophy. It looks like Saturn.
Now I want to look up last year's supporting actor, though.
I think it was...
well, they got nominees.
Ed Harris on Westworld, I think.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, Ed Harris.
I looked up last year's nominees. I don't need to win. I just want to be nominated.
Well, but the problem you've got, which I think, well, I guess it's their genre.
Yeah.
So they don't do drama and comedy. They just do Best Supporting Actor on Television.
Yeah.
But no, you can break in here. All
I
right,
think
here's
I can.
what we got. We got Ed Harris in Westworld, Jeffrey Wright in Westworld. They're both gone.
Yes.
Because that show's not coming back for another half a year or whatever.
Correct.
So 2 open slots already.
2 open slots. Okay.
Lyndon Ashby and Teen Wolf, get out of town. I've never heard of
that show's also ended.
Get the fuck out of town.
Out of here.
All right.
3 open slots.
We got Mehcad Brooks as James Olsen, Jimmy Olsen in Supergirl. Yeah. Fine. He'll probably stick around. He's only getting more to do. He's the Guardian now on Supergirl.
Cool.
He's around. Kit Harington in Game of Thrones. I mean, yeah, sure.
But you figure if not him, someone else from Game of Thrones will get it. There will be a Game of Thrones nominee.
Lee Majors on Ash vs. Evil Dead. Had no idea he was on it.
He plays Ash's dad.
Proud of him.
Me too.
Glad he's doing well. Norman Reedus on The Walking Dead. I mean, I think there could be some Walking Dead fatigue.
I'll say this too.
He's a favorite, of the fans.
Ash vs. Evil Dead season 3 got pushed back to 2018, so it won't qualify.
Maybe he's not in there either.
They have a year without a season.
Do they? Interesting.
But I would say safe to say one Game of Thrones person will make it, one Walking Dead person will make it.
But here's who you got to fend off.
Who?
There's like 8 Stranger Things boys. You got to keep them out, because they're nipping at your heels.
Yeah, fuck.
Those Stranger Things.
No, but they have, last year they put all the Stranger Things kids in the young actor category.
Interesting. All right. Okay.
Or the breakthrough.
We'll see.
I think they might be squared away. I think Mahershala Ali gets in, no question, right? He'll get an easy nom for Luke Cage.
Yeah, they do have a younger actor.
Thank you.
Millie Bobby Brown won it.
Right. So I'm not going to have to duke it out with Finn Wolfhard. He'll be in his own category.
Sure.
Mahershala, I think, will get in for Luke Cage. I think you'll have one.
Maybe. I don't know. That one kind of vanished from memory.
That performance.
No, Luke Cage was this year.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Mahershala wasn't nominated.
That's crazy.
They nominated Lyndon Ashby of Teen Wolf.
I think I can fucking get in.
I think you can get in too. I think you can get in.
I'm not being arrogant, but
Here's
I'm going to launch a full Melissa Leo
Here's my
campaign.
problem.
I'm going to make people consider.
Here's my problem.
What's your problem?
You're a lead on the tick. This is category fraud. You're pulling a fucking Rooney Mara and Carol right now.
It's not category fraud. I'm second billed.
Yeah. This is what I would call a classic Rooney Mara and Carol situation.
I'm number 2 on the call sheet.
So
it's not category fraud.
Because let me just point my eyes up to the lead. Oh, that's me looking up to lead. Andrew Lincoln, Walking Dead, who won last year.
Okay.
Bruce Campbell, Ash vs. Evil Dead, fine. Mike Colter and Luke Cage, he's gone. Charlie Cox and Daredevil, he's gone.
Yeah.
Grant Gustin in The Flash. Sam Heughan in Outlander.
Okay.
Very hot, very cute.
Yeah.
And Freddie Highmore in Bates Motel.
And has that ended now? Was that
it did end. Maybe it's eligible. I can't,
Well, I won't have to compete with those people because I'm submitting myself for supporting actor. It's not category
fraud.
The show's called The Tick. This is the only time I'm going to claim that I'm not the lead.
All right, back to RoboCop.
Yeah, I'm so glad we went on that tangent because we need to pad this episode out a little bit. I went to the Saturn Awards with my friend as a +1, and I sat next to Ray Wise at a table.
Okay.
And he was so terrifying, and I wanted to win him over so much. I was like 19, and I just kept on making jokes to Ray Wise because I want him to like me.
Did he tell you to try silence? No, what'd he do?
No, we were like getting along pretty well, and then I kept on ordering wine because I was 19 and they weren't carding me. No. And I at one point poured an entire glass of red wine on my body. Poured is the wrong word. Spilled.
Yeah, right. And that's the word you were looking for.
I could not regain his respect after that for the rest of the night. He was like,
this is a drunk kid.
Happens to the best of us. But was kind of like eye rolling. And then,
no.
And this was Reaper era Wise. So he's hella scary, if you catch my drift.
I do.
Hella.
The fourth member of the gang is Joe Cox.
Oh, yeah.
Played by Jesse Goins. I don't know how you say his name.
He's the laughing guy?
Yeah, the weirdest performance in RoboCop.
Most certainly.
He definitely has a take on this character. But he came in and I think he was like, Paul, I've got this character figured out. Yeah. He laughs at everything.
Yeah.
And Paul was like, oh, okay, sure. You're kind of the least rounded out. You and Ray Wise don't have a lot to do anyway. So
I want a car very badly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I really want that Ford.
SUX.
Yeah, the SUX. And he just laughs a lot.
Yeah.
It's a weird performance.
So we're still on minute 8 of RoboCop.
Well,
they're chasing Boddicker and his gang.
We should note, this is a short movie.
It is.
This is a mic drop of a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Really?
They're chasing Boddicker and the gang.
Yep.
Shoot out from the back of a truck.
Sure.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Sure.
Throws Bobby at the windshield. This is already, you're like, okay, this is the game that fucking Boddicker's playing. He'll throw one of his men. He'll use them.
Yeah, he's demented.
John McClane out of bullets. He'll throw a guy as a projectile, right?
And, they go to an old steel mill.
They get
abandoned
there.
mill. Very cool location,
Right?
in my
And they're
opinion.
both trying to sneak up.
Sure. And it is, in fact, Joe Cox who takes out Nancy Allen, right?
Yes,
Knocks
because
her
Lewis
out.
is kind of creeping up on him. She catches him. He's taking a piss. He goes, mind if I zip this up? She goes,
Looks
okay.
down. No, she doesn't even go okay. She just looks down for a second, and that's enough.
And he was banking on that.
Yeah.
That she wanted to take a peek of the peen.
Oh, boy.
Who won?
I'm just letting that lie.
Take a peek of the peen.
Letting it
I'm
lie.
gonna take a peek. I'll put it out there. I'm gonna take a peek.
Oh, what? What? You're not progressive enough to take a peek of the peen?
Sure, I'll take a peek.
It's 2018, David. Take a peek of the peen.
Wow. It's 2018.
It's 2018. Year of the peen.
Okay.
He knocks her out onto like
Knocks her out. Doesn't matter.
series of pillows.
What's important? Yeah,
Bags
right,
of rice.
right,
She lands in a very soft space.
It
off
doesn't
of,
matter.
Right.
But
she's out.
Yeah, I know. What's important is what happens to poor Murphy.
What happens in this?
He gets shot with 800 shotgun shells.
Where do they shoot him?
Well, the crucial thing we see is they shoot his hands off and one of his arms.
The crucial scene, more like the crucifixal
I
scene.
know. Yes, it's real stigmata.
RoboCop is American Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, the shot, which I believe may have been edited in the R-rated cut, but the shot that I watched
Where the arm flies away.
is nuts.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
They were like, that's the moment where that was the big thing that the X was over. I mean, there's that, and there's the Ed 209 and a couple other little things, but that was the big one that they were like flipping out over.
Yeah.
It's so drawn out.
Yeah.
And it's also not just the level of gore, but how sadistic it is. That they keep
So
on laughing at him, taunting him.
right.
It's really like morally
And
kind of off-putting.
I don't want to bring up Flesh and Blood, but it's like that intense scene.
But it's used to a much greater purpose, a much greater end here.
Yeah.
But it is similar. It's very similar. But in this case, it is not our hero of the film who is doing that.
Sure.
You know? But they love fucking killing this cop, right?
Sure.
Yeah, they do.
It's also that he needs to be really blown up to be RoboCop.
Right. Shoot him in the back of the head, brains fly out, and then black.
Yeah.
And Lewis is watching it happen but can't get to him, right? So she's seeing this. She knows firsthand what's going on here. Cuts black. On the commentary, Verhoeven said he wanted 40 seconds of black and silence.
Wow. That would have been awesome.
He wanted audiences to go like, is the movie over?
Is
The
he
hero just died.
dead? Yeah.
Right. And he says, even now, like, we got it down to like 5. I wish I had pushed for like 10. He's like, my one regret watching the film today.
Is insane.
Yeah.
No, I mean, 40 seconds is a crazy amount of time.
That's like the fucking the Zodiac director's cut, where the only difference is there's that one sequence that's 2 minutes that's all black where you just hear songs
Right.
to note the passage of time.
Yeah.
He wanted that, no audio. He wanted audiences to question it. It ends up being like 5 seconds in the film. He says, if I could go back, I'd make it 10.
Okay. You
But
said
then-
that twice now.
Then we come back, POV.
Yeah.
RoboCop screaming.
Grid.
A masterful sequence.
A great GUI,
Right.
as they say.
We're understanding RoboCop's display.
Mm-hmm.
We're placed directly in his head. Mm-hmm. And you get, I like, it's kind of like your whole hot take on Empire Strikes Back, the whole kind of like side business comedy with Admiral Piet and everything.
Yeah.
I
love
like
that.
the little trappings of like narrative we get with the scientists.
Just little bits.
Little bits. But he said most of that was improvised. They let them kind of work on stuff.
Right.
They had party supplies, so they were like, let's make it New Year's.
It's right, but it's also just insane that very early thing where they're like, we saved his arm. And Ferrer is so mad at them.
Yeah.
Where he's like, what?
Total
Get rid of the
body
arm.
prosthesis.
Exactly.
Because it's so much about creating a product.
Yeah. But they don't get that. They're
They're like,
oh, aren't we trying to like save this person's life, turning him into a robot?
Which, do you know what the fucking remake does?
What?
The remake's like, all we were able to save was his hand. So he's got one human hand. They do the opposite of this just to like fucking flip him off.
Right.
So for the whole movie, he's got one visible human hand, which looks dumb.
Well, the suit in the remake looks dumb.
You know, they also show this design for the suit, and it's this, and they go like, that looks like something out of a dumb 80s action movie.
Boo.
That movie can go fuck itself.
I'm going to watch it.
Keaton's good in it, though. And my boy Jackie Earl. Very good in it.
Mm-hmm. How about Oldman?
It's a weird casting. He plays like the kindly scientist.
Right.
He plays like the Dr. Erskine role.
Yeah. What about Sam Jackson?
Sam Jackson is the way they do the news broadcasts.
Right. Yeah, he's like the one who's...
But he's Bill O'Reilly, so he's like not news, it's like commentary, and it's like, it's dumb.
It's funnier that the news broadcasts are the news broadcasts.
Exactly.
Of course.
And they hire two real anchors.
I know, it's amazing.
And they write it like news copy.
Yeah, except they're just saying the most insane things in the world.
Yeah. It's bad sci-fi. The RoboCop remake is bad sci-fi.
Yeah, you're right.
Now you want some good sci-fi.
Okay.
You don't always have to go to the multiplex.
I want like an original sci-fi adventure.
Yeah,
like,
I'm saying, you're thinking, oh, movies, TV. Those are the only arenas in which I can get my original sci-fi.
Okay. You're here to correct me.
Not so fast. No.
Okay.
What if I was to tell you that there was an original science fiction adventure built from the ground up to be an audio experience featuring a large cast of professional voice theater and screen actors?
Okay.
A full dedicated score that draws inspiration from classic action adventure movies.
Very important to good sci-fi.
A full slate of sound effects, and most importantly, professional mixing.
Oh, yeah. So it sounds like a real drama.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe you've heard of it?
Are you talking about the hour-and-a-half-long sci-fi audio adventure Cerberus Rex?
Well, yes, I am.
Oh.
My friend?
Yeah. Well, we've talked about this show. This show's cool.
Look, a large number of audio drama shows say they're the cinematic experience in audio form, but come on. We're amongst friends here. Let's be honest. They're really not.
But, like, essentially, this is the good version.
This is a large production. It's large-scale adventure experience. It actually captures that effect.
And if you want to listen to it in a higher quality, you can actually pay $1.99. But you can also listen to it for free, right?
Uh-huh.
On sci-fi.com. sci-fi.com.
You got to, and remember the dash, because you got to dash over to this website.
sci-fi.com.
Sci-fi.com. Sci-dash.
With that dash.
You got a dash.
Yeah, no, this is a cool show. We talked about it on a previous episode, but it's a more exciting sponsor for us because it's actually something original.
This isn't a company. This isn't a product.
Right.
This is art, my friend.
Right. It's like, as you said, large-scale audio adventure about this scientist who is recruited to investigate this mystery of physics.
You get to experience the day-to-day of these people in this station trying to solve a mystery. But the patina, day-to-day is a larger term. The hour-to-hour. Do you know what I'm saying?
Patina, Rosetta Stone?
All of it.
You want to hit them all?
Yes.
All your faves?
Morass.
Oh, you like that
Text.
No, it's a cool show. And it's special. I'm glad they're advertising on Blank Check.
Yeah.
The creator too is incorporating a lot of sort of touchstones of different directors that we've discussed that even fall into the wheelhouse of science fiction.
James Cameron, Steven Spielberg, maybe you heard of them.
John Carpenter, who I'd love to do.
John McTiernan, who we've long talked about wanting to do.
John McTiernan is someone we should do.
Yeah, when we do our Year of the Felon.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
But still, he's cool.
Cool guy. Good friend, good director.
And writers that, we've probably talked about, like William Goldman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just saying, give her a listen, okay?
Okay. Yeah. Well, you've got to go to sci-fi.com. That's SCI-FI.com to listen to Cerberus Rex. And you can listen for free. But if you want a high quality version, you can pay $2 for it, $1.99.
So you're saying if you want a higher quality version, you can buy that for $2.
That's perfect. Okay. Right. RoboCop, they make him.
So you're watching them make him slowly over this period of time. Morton's getting excited. This woman who looks like Parker Posey kind of has a crush on him.
Huge glasses.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, did Parker Posey go back in time?
Mm-hmm.
And then we see that, like, he set up Celebration. They take the plastic wrap off of him. I love that perspective shot where it's like the plastic wrap and you see the table being lifted up and you're watching an audience applaud him. And he's not responding at all. So you just know, you're like, is this guy fucking catatonic now?
Right.
And then we go to the precinct. I'm a repeat offender. I repeat, I will offend again. Great joke, 10 comedy points.
He's just going to do the whole movie,
clunk,
folks.
Clunk, clunk, clunk. What's that? Through the glass, foggy, distorted. We see the silhouette of RoboCop.
Yeah.
Bottin went to Verhoeven and said, please tease out the look. Because I think if you just cut and show the suit, it's going to look goofy.
Sure.
People are going to be jarred by it. You need to tease it out.
Yeah. I think that's good advice.
You get that. He comes through the door. You see all the reactions. You see little bits and pieces as everyone's following him down the hallway trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And then the first time you really see him, you see in the sequence from his POV, you see him distorted on the screen a little bit.
Okay.
Which is a nice touch.
Sure.
But then the time you fully see him after all this buildup is this very banal shot where they lock the cage. They lock the gates. They marry him. And
it's
now
good that you have total visual memory of this movie.
Yes. And now he's sitting in his little baby high chair.
Yeah, they do lock the gates. He's in his baby high chair. Miguel Ferrer's there.
They ask him who his guys are. And then they calibrate. They do the thing with the pen. We set up the visual device of him being able to record memories, picture in picture. All this is important later. And I just think it's all very artfully set up, right?
Yeah, I think it's good. It's good. Yeah, right. They introduce all the information.
He's got his baby food. He's got his little high chair. Everyone's looking at
but what's the word for it? It's a paste. I forget. Rudimentary paste. It's such a classic 80s sci-fi word.
Right, and then he takes the finger doll.
It's like baby food.
It's that guy who's the thumbs up guy at the end of the movie.
That guy rocks. Felton Perry. He plays Donald Johnson. He's so good. He's awesome. He's really funny.
But I like RoboCop comes in as intimidating and immediately is like infantilized, where it's like, is this even like, does it have a consciousness?
Yeah,
like,
no,
he's
it's
just
true.
A thing
I like that too. That
yeah.
it's not like the movie begins with like there's a criminal wilding out. I mean, the introduction and then RoboCop like smashes and he's like, dead or alive, you are coming with me, and you're like, oh my God. Instead, it's like this weird science experiment. Yeah.
But then we cut to the firing range.
Yeah.
And now he's looking cool. He's got this badass gun.
He's got this insane gun.
I hate guns so much. So fucking much.
How'd you feel about the gun scene in Ragnarok?
Didn't like it.
Yeah. Carry on.
Didn't like it. I don't like guns. And I don't get gun fetishization that much.
Sure.
That having been said, while rewatching this movie for the second time in 24 hours, I was like, how much does it cost to get a replica?
Do not
of
buy a fucking replica of a gun. Jesus.
I was like thinking about it.
It's this crazy, like, it's a Beretta and they like extended it to make it fit his hand.
They had to modify it.
It's a gigantic gun. They were going to give him a Desert Eagle, which is like the biggest pistol that there is. But they were like, that's too small.
Yeah.
Like they needed this sort of obscene gun.
Yes. And he's just there totally still nailing it.
And all the cops love this guy. They're all rushing to see him.
And this is a sequence with no music, just the sounds of the shots. Everyone else is taking deliberate shots, and he's got this kind of rattling. They all start looking over, crowding around him. Lewis is kind of the last to get smart to it because she's not, easily impressed. Nope. She's not impressed by the flash, but she's starting to wonder what's going on here. And when he finishes, what does he do? TJ Laser.
Yeah. So then she notices that.
Wait, but David, where does he put his gun?
It's in his leg.
Oh, shit. Motherfucker puts his gun in his leg. RoboCop just changed the game.
You're weird.
Oh, here I am. I'm a cop. Here's my leg. Let me put a holster on top of it. No.
Ben's wagging his
We're both wagging our fingers. RoboCop puts it in the leg.
What did I do?
He's got a leg holster. He puts it in the leg. No. You're being a little stinker, David.
You guys have lost your mind.
So the gun is in the leg.
Oh, my God. Uh-huh.
And Lewis is like, Murphy used to do that. So she stops.
It's a weird reading of her internal monologue. Murphy.
Matey.
Guys, we have a good time making this show.
Yeah, we have a great time.
It's a good time.
I can't believe people listen to it.
Listen to this garbage.
I love doing it.
I love doing it too. It's my happiest thing.
I just don't understand how people we just keep growing.
I know people are like, I just discovered the show, really like it. And I'm like, really? This thing?
We were looking at numbers right before this and it was like at an exponential rate. Like I thought at some point we'd hit a ceiling where it's like, this is the full amount of people alive in the world who would ever want to listen to this nonsense, but it keeps on expanding.
The Blank Check Reddit just hit 701 queer means.
Hey.
Anyway, Yeah, Murphy's in there, and we're also introduced to his 3 directives, which are
Directive 1, Directive 2, Directive...
serve the public trust.
Obey the law.
Protect the innocent.
Obey the law.
Uphold the law.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Directive 4 classified.
You don't know what Directive 4 is.
I'm
kind of embarrassed I didn't remember that.
I know, I was a little shocked, but I also thought you might not because they're so bland and generic, and they also never come up.
Right, I knew what the sentiments were.
Yes, so, and then he starts to rampage, right?
Well, no, but Lewis stops him in the hallway. Does that happen later?
Initially, because he has a couple of scenes of just being RoboCop. Like there's the scene in the convenience store.
Well, first we have the moment where he walks past the sergeant's desk and goes, "I'll take this," and takes the car keys.
Right,
and walks out. That one shot with one line was the first thing they shot with him in the suit, and they said it took 8 hours.
Jesus Christ.
Because the suit was such a nightmare, and then once they finally got him to figure out how to walk, they realized the hand couldn't grip the glove. Right. So they were like, that was the day where we thought the movie was never going to get finished.
Right.
But then you get this awesome series of like, here's just one night on the town being RoboCop.
Yeah, but I think why I think it's good is that it's just immediately clear, like, this is madness.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like, that's why I love RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's not good. He's bad. We should not have a RoboCop.
And the city is also fucked. I mean, it's like one fucked element meeting another fucked element.
Sure.
Like, we go to the convenience store, the guy comes in, he's itchy. Hey,
right, he's open the safe, and he knocks over the beer can.
And he takes out this really overzealous gun.
Yeah, huge gun.
Like, you don't need this gun to rob a convenience store, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But a pointed joke I think the movie's making.
Yeah, sure.
He loves I'd Buy That for $1. Everyone loves I'd Buy That for $1.
Who doesn't
the most
love
popular
I'd Buy That
TV
for $1?
show.
Yep.
J.W. Bixby, I think is the character's name.
Yeah, Bixby Snyder.
Bixby Snyder, sorry.
Yeah, who is that guy? He looks crazy.
I don't know, but I'd buy him for $1.
Uh-huh.
It is 4 a.m. where we are currently recording.
Yeah, the auto lights in the office just went off.
It's also pitch black outside.
It is. Yeah, it's a grim day today. It's like pouring.
Yeah, it's been bad.
Cold.
It's been bad. So it feels a little like old Detroit outside. I mean, catch my drift. He goes in and RoboCop starts walking in. What the fuck are you? Right? And then clearly RoboCop is not stopping. He's an immovable force, right? And he's got his gun, and the guy just starts going, oh fuck.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
In the script, it was written as 1 fuck, and Verhoeven was like, just keep saying it.
Just smelt it away.
Yeah,
keep smelting it.
Oh fuck. I also always love that the safe is hidden underneath the pyramid of beer cans.
Me too. I think that's a good move by them.
I always think that's a really cool detail. But he just eviscerates the guy.
Yeah.
Graphically in a way that is unnecessary.
It's great though.
He could have just shot him one time. He's got perfect aim.
Right.
Instead, he like makes him into Swiss cheese and then says like, have a pleasant evening.
Yes.
And has traumatized these people.
He has.
He could have stopped the crime very calmly. But RoboCop is cranked up to 11. Right? What's his next stop? His next stop is
the streets.
2 bad guys. No good, very bad, don't do it.
They are harassing a woman.
Yes, chasing after her with a knife, commenting on her blonde hair, questioning whether she's got more hair down there.
It's a rough scene.
2 points for the rhyme.
Yeah, I'm going to say no points. A blanket no points for these guys.
I'm deducting them points for other behaviors.
Oh, boy.
I'm giving them 2 rhyme points. Originally, it was not supposed to go that far.
Oh, okay.
The scene. Paul Verhoeven, who likes sexual assault in movies, had the idea of the scene going on that far, but also then it creates the cool setup of, okay, now he's holding the woman in front of him with the knife to her throat. How is RoboCop going to shoot?
Wow, it just went dark.
Yep.
Like it's radio silence.
David?
He shoots through her skirt.
You got to pick at that pecker.
Ben's pointing at
You got to pick at that pecker.
Jesus Christ. It's a dress, I believe, actually. She's wearing a dress.
Yeah, but he's not shooting the dress. He's shooting the pecker.
Yes, he shoots the guy in the Johnson.
He aims right between her legs, hits that pecker.
Useless garbage.
Fatal Farm, who are like really good filmmakers who do a lot of stuff with Tim and Eric and like for ad companies, that kind of, when you see things that aren't made by Tim and Eric.
Tim and Eric-y?
Yeah. They do a lot of that stuff. They did, do you know about this Our RoboCop remake thing?
No.
They did this with Footloose as well, and maybe one other recent 80s remake. Because I want people to watch this. It's really good.
Okay, fair enough.
it was around that time when they were starting to remake all these classic 80 movies. A lot of like UCB comedy people in LA and filmmakers, sketch teams, what have you, did this project where they would each take one scene from the original film and remake just that scene on its own.
Okay.
And piece together their own scene for scene remake. Yeah. And the Fatal Farm version of that scene, that's the scene they did. And they're really high production value. Mm-hmm. The thing that's great about them is they make everything look real. Is they shoot the guy in the pecker and it flies out of his pants like the disembodied dick. And then another guy comes up with a knife and they shoot him and his dick flies off. And it becomes like 80 different men running in and just a bunch of disembodied dicks lying on the ground. It's great. You should watch it.
It's really funny.
You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
RoboCop's kicking butt, taking names. Picking beans.
But then, as you mentioned, he runs into, what's his name? Fucking Emil. At
a gas station, he's fucking with a kid who's supposed to be young Verhoeven.
Oh, interesting.
He's
who's reading his book.
Reading his mathematics
He's reading his
book.
math book, and he's like a creepy Nazi fucking with him or whatever. I mean, the Nazis were gone by the time.
But he's fucking with the kid, reading his basic planes book.
Yeah.
And Emil's just doing it for sport.
Good Paul McCrane shit here, by the way.
Good
Love Paul McCrane
shit.
And he's going nuts, and it's great.
And RoboCop
shows up.
Yes.
And,
what the fuck are you? I'm supposed to be scared of you. Starts fucking with Emil.
And he says, dead or alive, you are coming with me. And Emil knows. He clocks that line.
And this is the first time we're getting a sense of, we saw the physical, the TJ Laser.
Yeah.
But there's some part of him, even though they wiped the memory, there's something there that's muscle memory almost.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? We killed you.
Yeah, he starts yelling that over and over again. And you see RoboCop like replaying the video in his brain. So Emil gets away because RoboCop is sort of stopped in his tracks by
Also,
this.
he flicks a cig, sets everything on fire.
Yeah, sure.
We get an awesome shot of RoboCop walking out of the flames.
Yeah.
There's a shot I love where it's the one where he's fully engulfed in the fire. Mm-hmm. And so they had to put the stuntman in like full shit.
Yeah. So
he's wearing a plastic lower face.
Okay.
There's one scene where RoboCop's head looks insane.
Okay.
Because it's not just like
too many times.
Yes, I have.
So, oh boy.
But he's wearing like a sculpted lower face mask.
Cool.
And he comes out of the fire, chases after, doesn't get him out. Or he does. He does. At this point, no, he doesn't.
No, Emil gets away.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Right. And then he goes into the precinct.
Has a dream. Oh, yeah. Well, first he does that. That's right.
His fucking information spike.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I love it.
Yeah. It is pretty cool.
His information spike.
He doesn't have like a USB dongle. He has an information spike.
Yeah. He's got
dead or alive, you are coming with me, Data.
He's got a data dick.
Yeah.
And it's his middle finger. So anytime he wants to access it, he has to flip people off. Because RoboCop ain't got time for your bullshit.
Your move.
Creep.
Data.
Podcast. Walks
Who
in.
are your guys?
I remember one time Damon Wayne said, I'm just going to do a jazz set.
But that's what he's asking the database.
Yes.
Who are your guys?
Yes, he says, who are your guys?
and he finds the guy,
right?
Emil, and his known associates.
Right. He goes, Emil, Boddicker, Carlin.
What the fuckstables? Why does anyone listen?
By the way, this is 2 Verhoeven movies in a row where he locks gates. I want it to be a thematic.
I guess so. We'll watch for more gate
recurring,
locking.
Yes. But so he's watching the guys. And this is like a big information dump scene, but it's really artfully done. Every scene in this movie,
interface,
he gives enough juice. So
yeah, good 80s tech, right?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, great 80s
interfaces,
tech.
David, man. I mean,
hot interfaces.
I'm like,
right.
Everything looks like an NBA Jam screen.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with this kind of design.
He's on fire.
Yeah, like I want to get Air Dog involved.
Yes.
Do you remember the code?
Yes. Yeah, and then
cool.
you could be
character.
you could be Clinton too.
It's true.
Yeah.
The Lewis scene has already happened.
Monster Jam.
By the bucket.
It happened earlier when I said it did. Because he at this point has
because
already...
it happens after he has the dream.
Maybe it happens right before he comes into the office.
Yes,
for
that's
the
right. That's right. He goes home. He has the dream. He goes home. He goes to his cage.
Right.
He has the dream.
He plugs
and
in.
like the guy,
he has the nightmare.
Yeah, the guy tasked with watching this is turned around and looking at his. Come on, man. At least face the screams.
And he does some great convulsing and some amazing grimace facing.
He has this dream of his murder, and then he sort of walks, and she confronts him with like, "You're Murphy. And, you know, what's your name?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, dead or alive."
I'm gonna drive you crazy right now.
Okay.
Can I do a merchandise spotlight?
Oh, sure. Okay, go ahead. What? Of what?
We all know. Got a collection of toys. I'm a toy boy.
You have a collection of toys. Yes,
That's what I said.
No. Yeah. You dropped the I or whatever. Yeah.
I swallowed it. I said
you swallowed it.
I'm a mumbler, baby. It's a jazz set. Just let me speak, okay? I tend to stay away from the high-end stuff.
The really fancy, like $200.
That's the heroine of the trade, right? I like fucking the white collar, blue collar,
it's like
salt
once
to
you
the earth
start buying
toys.
those $200 toys, it's like, you're going to need them all the time.
Especially if now suddenly you have disposable income after 9 years of mostly subsiding off a dollar pizza.
Yeah.
Dangerous if you are a working actor on a TV show and they're giving you money and stuff like that exists out there.
Sure.
There was one high-end toy I own. And it is that crazy company, Hot Toys, which is the Japanese company that makes like, anytime you've seen something where you're like, that's fucking insane, and then you look at the price and you're like, that's fucking insane. They're that company. I got a RoboCop that cost me $250. It was 50% off. It was a $500 product. I know. I knew that would get that response out of you.
Oh boy. 500. What is it? Can I find it? What do I Google?
They recently, the same company released a Hulkbuster from Avengers Age of Ultron.
That's fine. What do I Google?
That cost $900.
Okay. Well, why would you ever want that? What do I Google?
That's my point, just to give you a sense of pay scale. Hot Toys RoboCop chair. Because what I got was the deluxe version that comes with this little high chair with all the monitors. It's made out of real metal.
How big is it?
12 inches.
So it's not that big.
It's a good 12 inches.
Bigger than an action figure, but not like, you know.
It's G.I. Joe size. Like large, old school, as opposed to Real American Hero.
I mean, it looks like RoboCop.
It looks exactly like RoboCop.
It's very shiny.
It's made out of real metal, as I said. You can open up his leg and put the gun inside. Yeah, you heard that right, David. Inside the leg. No.
It's a disgusting noise of yours. Yes?
He's got 3 different lower faces, so you can change the expressions.
Great.
Including the grimace face from when he's in the chair.
No, he has 4 faces.
You're right.
Yeah.
One's
3
talking.
extra faces.
Yes.
Right. He's got like a busted torso and helmet, so you can like make him look all scarred.
Damage. You can move each individual finger as well. But I just have him in the pose representing this scene where he's like pushing himself up on the chair, having the nightmare.
That's funny that you do that.
That's what I think is funny.
Sure.
I have him with the grimace face, like twisted,
this
having
is
a nightmare.
With sound effect?
Yes, I said he talks.
Wow.
It comes with a little remote that looks like the RoboCop logo, and if you touch the O, it says, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." It says other stuff as well.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
But I got RoboCop in his little chair.
Your move, creep.
Thank you very much. That was my merchandise spotlight.
Oh, also, the NES game was great. I had it growing up. I loved it. It was really
I had
fun.
at least one.
It was
RoboCop
hard,
game.
though.
Yeah, well, that's back when games were just
But do you know what's an even
punishing.
better game? Because I got a Sega emulator recently, Genesis.
Proud of you.
Thank you. My managers bought it for me so I could play the Tick video game. It was a nice thing to do.
Yeah,
so
I remember that game.
I played the Tick video game in my dressing room the limited time they weren't working me to the bone. And I've been buying some other Genesis games. RoboCop versus the Terminator for Sega Genesis is a fucking phenomenal game.
I never played it.
There was a Dark Horse limited comic book series that was then adapted into the video game medium, and it rules. You play as RoboCop. He is the good guy, Robert Cop, and you got to stop them Terminators.
So he has his dream, and he uses his information spike.
And it's perfectly represented on my mantle.
God, he's destroying my brain. I'm hungry too.
Well, yeah, it's breakfast now. So Lewis comes up to him in the hallway after he's cast run away. We can't control him. She goes, "It's you, Murphy, it's you." We haven't said that. She says the name Murphy to him for the first time. Murphy, what the fuck does that mean?
But also she says, "What's your name?" And he won't answer.
Right.
And then Miguel Ferrer's like, "You want me to start off the program? Is he a dream? Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. What are you talking about?
Snort some coke off some boobs.
Keep babysitting him. Come on."
And so then we have these sort of 2 vague-ish plot lines. One is RoboCop sort of hunting down these men that he gets from the spike.
When he gets to the spike, he sees Boddicker. The face kind of strikes a chord with him, and then he sees
Leon
murder. Click, click, cop killer. Click, click, Alex Murphy, deceased, flashing.
Yeah.
Murphy, it's you. Murphy, it's you. He's remembering.
You're going to do every minute? I've got a water bottle I'm going to throw at you at a certain point. And you've got him hunting down everyone.
Yeah.
The lesser...
When does the mayor scene happen? Is that in the first night on the town?
The mayor scene?
When the mayor is holding the office hostage because he wants a recount.
Oh, I love that. No, he's not the mayor. He's just a councilman. But yes, I love that scene. That's early. That might be in his initial run along with the rapists and the...
I think Emil is a separate run.
Yeah, sure.
Because I think the mayor ends that first run.
Councilman. Yes.
Councilman, sorry.
That's a great scene, though, because that's where he uses his, thermal scanning.
I want something with really shitty gas mileage.
That's a really funny line.
Do you know how they did the thermal scanning scene?
How?
This is a fun anecdote.
Okay.
They made bodysuits that look like thermal scans, and they wear them, and then they just use that as a plate, so if you watch the shot, you can see the zipper in the back.
Wow.
It wasn't done as an effect, but body coloring. They just shot that on a green screen and then did the background later. It's practical. It's fucking cool. And RoboCop punches through the wall, strangles him, throws the guy out of the car, and when he hits, it cuts to the news broadcast, and it goes, RoboCop, who is he? What is he? Immediately, we're contextualizing him. You see him on the playground with the kids. Neumeier said that was the best day of filming because he's like, you make these movies, and it's a bunch of angry, tired people, and everyone's pissed off. And then once we got to a playground with kids talking to a robot cop, we were like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
Bob Morton's doing the victory lap. Everyone's loving Bob. And we've got a couple scenes. This is why I went back to this, because I think it's important to reestablish. Bob Morton now, he's in the executive washroom.
Oh, there is the executive washroom.
He thinks he's fucking hot shit. And he's talking about Dick Jones. He's a dinosaur. He's old. We're new.
Yeah.
The guy next to him taking a leak, he knows that Dick Jones.
Everyone scurries out of there.
He lets himself pee on his fucking crotch.
Yeah, I know.
He zips up so quickly, there's pee-pee.
I swear to God, yes, I know. Yes.
Which Neumeier said he wrote because it was his greatest fear in life.
Did he pee on himself when zipping up?
That if he was wearing a lightly colored suit...
Sure.
He worked in an office where he had a crush on the receptionist, and her desk was right by the bathroom. And if he accidentally peed on himself, then she would be the one who would see it. Because he wore gray suits. So he wrote it in. Write what you know. Dick Jones is there. Suddenly it's just him. Verhoeven and Neumeier said this scene is meant to be an homage to Papa Farrer's scene in Lawrence of Arabia.
Okay.
In the sense of it being an interrogation that's maybe also erotically charged.
Okay.
Because Dick Jones keeps on stroking his face.
It is. Yeah.
Deliberate?
Sure.
He goes, we used to make fun of the old man. Sometimes we even called him an asshole. But we always had respect. And Morton shrugs it off. He's like, you ain't got no bite no more, baby.
Yeah, he doesn't buy it.
Ed 209 sucks. Go fuck yourself.
He doesn't buy it.
Dick Jones.
But... don't fuck with Dick Jones. He ain't that old yet.
Because let me check quickly. What's that he's got in the pocket? Clarence Boddicker. He's got Boddicker in the pocket.
I'm going to give you sure. Yeah, no. Mm-hmm.
David's giving me the wrap it up sign.
No, I'm not going to give you the wrap it up sign. We're not close to wrapping up. Although I guess it is kind of close to the end already. You know,
wow.
It's a fast
Maybe
movie.
I knew exactly what I was doing.
No, but no.
No.
Maybe I've been playing this episode like a fiddle. I'm in complete control the entire time.
Oh, boy. No, you are very much the Dick Jones of this podcast.
That's not true. I'm Bob Morton.
Okay.
You're
well,
old,
that means
you're
you're about to die because as RoboCop has taken out the lesser Boddickers, Boddicker comes
He goes to the
Bob
disco.
Morton's
He
house.
takes down Ray Wise.
Yeah.
Ray Wise tries to kick him in the robo deck. But what happens instead? Gong.
Boing.
One of the most overt jokes in the film.
It's a good joke.
And then do you know what happens right after that?
I don't. Tell me.
They cut to a close-up of Paul Verhoeven dancing straight into the camera.
Oh, really?
It flashes for 2 seconds.
I'll never find that.
It's just Verhoeven going like this, and the story is that he was trying to direct the extras to dance the way he wanted, and the camera guys told him without his permission. The editor found that footage, was like, I'm going to fucking put this in, and they kept it in.
Wow.
So they kick him, gong, and then it's Paul Verhoeven staring straight into the lens going like this.
Yeah, very good.
Taking him down.
Boddicker, at the same time, kills Bob Morton by blowing his whole house up with a grenade.
Bitches leave.
Yeah.
Good line.
Sure.
I mean, bad sentiment.
Yeah.
Good piece of writing.
I guess so.
He tongues a grenade.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves it there on the table. Morton just cares about the coke. He plays the Dick Jones video.
Wait, what?
He plays a video from Dick Jones for Bob Morton announcing that he's about to die.
Yeah, but Morton's like, Miguel Ferrer, he's like crawling to get the, he's been shot or whatever. Yeah.
And then he is dead. So
One
now
assumes.
we know that Boddicker
and Dick Jones, they're kind of working together, which makes not a ton of sense, but whatever.
Was not in the script. That was a studio note of like, the two villains should be working together. They were originally completely unrelated.
Yeah, they should be unrelated. They don't really make much sense.
I disagree. I like
I
fact
disagree
that the entire company, the whole world is fucked around them. I like that everyone's in cahoots.
I just think it makes Boddicker more powerful than he really needs to be. Because initially he's just some asshole.
But I love that he's
But
some
now it's
asshole
like
who's
he's in
also
charge of all the
disproportionately
crime?
powerful.
I like that it's a
so.
corrupt corporation
Thank
that's
you.
working with the criminals.
They own the cops and they got the criminals. in their
I
pockets.
get it.
It means it's RoboCop versus the entire world versus the system.
Ugh.
Dun, 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 dun. David's
Well,
just throwing a water bottle at my head.
I want to. But Boddicker, oh, Jesus. I'm getting so, there's the cocaine factory scene.
So that's the next major thing that happens.
Right. Yes.
He goes, there's the awesome shot of the door kind of bending like the cartoon door of him breaking it in.
Yes.
This is a great shady
The cocaine factory is awesome.
This is probably one of the best shady factories
it's a
of
good
the
shady
80s.
factory.
It's like a really good conveyor belt factory line. It's like the I Love Lucy chocolate factory. And Boddicker's doing the game tonight.
Yeah, he's great. Every scene he's in is wonderful.
Neumeyer said that's the scene that was really poorly written where they just let him do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Right.
Right, so he says all this weird, he does the shit where he puts his fingers in the red wine, which is such a power move.
Yeah.
And then just sniffs it.
Yeah, that's right. And they will point the guns at each other.
Right. Guns.
Yeah, I love it all. I love
great.
Kurtwood.
All great.
Kurtwood,
He's amazing
man.
in it. And then RoboCop comes in, and he's kind of excited. Here's this fucking RoboCop dick that everyone's talking about, right?
Yeah.
And RoboCop just starts busting ass. Dun, 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 dun. Cool trick
I
shots.
swear to God. All right, now we have now officially exceeded the running time of this movie. Great. That's what I was watching for.
Okay.
Carry on.
Cool trick shots. He's taking them all down. He finally gets to Boddicker. Boddicker's like, you don't know what you're messing with. You can't fuck with me.
Right. I'm with Dick Jones. Right.
Right.
RoboCop takes him in.
Yes.
What's the charge?
He's a cop killer.
He's a cop killer. Who are your guys? So Boddicker's in.
What's wrong with me?
Pow. But of course, Dick Jones springs him right away.
Right.
Because, like you say, they are
Give
because
me
of a
my
studio
fucking
note.
phone call. He spits the blood on the table. It was originally going to be Boddicker was the initial villain.
Right, and this is the end of the
Once
line.
this is resolved, end of the line creep.
But yes, it is revealed that Dick Jones kind of wants Boddicker to make crime because that just sort of accelerates the Delta City thing.
Yeah.
But then he's
It's the opposite of the Dentac.
But then
please make more crime.
Yes.
But he goes into Dick Jones's office. He's all busted up, but he's still got that same
he's got those great
disproportionate confidence. This guy is so confident. He hits on the receptionist, who is Kurtwood Smith's wife. Still to this day. I think that's really sweet.
Were they already married?
They got married a year after they were already together.
Okay.
But they've been married since 1988.
Okay.
Sweet.
And Jones is like, okay, I'll get you out, but you're really fucking shit up for me. He is mad at him.
Yes. Here's a tracking device. Fine.
Go kill RoboCop. I'll give you these gigantic, absurd military weaponry that will destroy him.
Right. Then RoboCop comes to the office because he's got the evidence on file, recorded. I work for Dick Jones. He goes in. I'm going to arrest Dick Jones. You were under arrest.
Directive 4.
He's going to give him the D4. It says he cannot harm an employee of Omni Consumer products. Yeah, terrific. You know me.
And it's the classic, it's a scenario that's playing out over and over and again now, right? Where don't put your info, your data, your life in the hands of private companies. Don't read the fine print.
Yes.
But even then, there could be a Directive 4.
Yeah.
I like the body acting of him trying to go through. That's
classic.
So good, the glitchy kind of movement.
He's so good.
Oh, we did miss. I'm sorry. We did miss the emotional linchpin of this movie.
The
Him
dream.
going back to his home.
Yeah, I don't like that scene.
I love that scene.
That's the one scene I'm just like, I already am connected to him and him as a person.
I find that scene really operatic and emotional.
Yeah, I just don't.
It's the Paradise Lost. Because it's the scene where he realizes he can't go back home again.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's also Vaporwave.
It's also Vaporwave.
Because I don't know or care about his wife or his kid and don't need to, I just don't care.
I like that that's the full extent we get of them. I like that they don't come back. I hear that in RoboCop 2 he meets his wife again, which is why I don't want to watch it.
We don't talk about it.
Right.
But the thing where she's like, I have something to tell you.
I love you.
And then later you see the full thing where I love you.
Yeah, I love it. I also think that's the single best piece of robot acting Weller does is at the end when he's like short-circuiting, losing his mind from the like emotional overload, and then he punches the screen. I like that's also set up as like the fucking.
I like that.
It's on the market.
Yeah, I like that. That's great. No problem with that.
The whole scene's really well done.
Yeah,
and the score is beautiful in that sequence.
You're insane. I love you, but you're the best.
You're a cop killer.
It's just like this movie's an hour 40 minutes long. Lose that scene, it's even leaner and meaner.
Disagree.
Lean and mean.
Disagree.
Lean and mean.
This movie is the exact right length.
I mean, I would basically agree because it's a great lean, straight train of a movie. Great.
Yes. You have the scene with Lewis and the sergeant, which is a nice kind of downbeat moment before chaos, where they're sort of just resigned to it. The Dick Jones, like, don't fucking mess with my people. I own this. The Boddicker thing, right? And they have that kind of look to each other where it's like, Reed really, he's trying his best. In tough circumstances, he's trying his best.
Yeah.
And Reed and Lewis get each other. But now RoboCop is gone. Directive 4, they chase him out.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
They do that great escape where he keeps on rolling off the different levels.
Well, first they shoot him a million times.
1,000 times.
Yeah, but then so he's all dinged up. But then, yes, I love the rolling. That's great. And then Lewis picks him up.
Right.
So you got that. He also escapes ED 209 before that.
Oh, fuck. Right. They send ED 209 the stairwell. Yeah. In the script they just wrote, Ed 209 falls down the stairs, and Phil Tippett handed them that thing with him, like, tipping his
which is
foot
great.
over.
Oh, he's like a little puppy.
Such a good performance, like bit of character animation.
Yeah.
And then just like collapses down the stairs and is on his back like a little baby turtle. But now he's chased. He rolls off the different levels.
He runs away. He goes back to the mill.
Right. Much like Jesus, they turned on him.
And he takes off his helmet.
They turned on him.
Yeah, we get the Jesus thing.
They get there. Lewis gives him all the tools he needs. You might want to look away.
Yeah. I love this scene.
And in this scene,
and I also love that he never puts the helmet back on,
Also from this scene on, his voice isn't modulated.
Yes.
Because when he says that line of like, you might want to look away, his inflections are different. His voice is processed differently. He sounds like a person now.
Yeah.
And he takes it off. And you get this amazing fucking effect of it looking like they stretched his flesh.
Yeah.
So what they did was they made his head bigger.
Uh-huh.
They built his face out bigger in size so that they could put the back headpiece of the metal skull, which is the size of his actual head.
Like it's protruding.
But then it overlaps in the front.
It's a very impressive effect.
It's really well done. I love the bullet wound right at the top.
Me too.
It's really, really upsetting.
It is. It's freaky, but in a cool way.
They send the commentary. I auditioned a lot of people for this who would want to overplay that scene and make it like the grand soliloquy of like, what did they do to me? Murphy had a wife, a son.
Right.
Armand Asante is someone they cite by name who auditioned.
Sure. I could see him going big.
And did that.
He likes to go big.
This scene is so muted. It's just like, fuck, this is my reality.
Mm-hmm.
And he talks about Murphy in the third person, which I love. He's starting to feel some connection to Murphy, but he doesn't think it's him, really. He feels like that's not him. Murphy had a wife, a son.
He's getting so excited, guys.
Because this is when this movie really starts kicking into like transcendent levels for me as he starts reckoning with his identity.
You're so crazy. Then there's
the great American movie.
And there's the scenes with the anti-tank rifles where they're, we're cutting to the boys playing around, blowing up the shit.
Boddicker's out. He's got the SUX, but
these guns are just hysterical. Like, it's so funny. They're like 8 feet long.
And the world is chaos.
The world is chaos. The police are now on strike.
Right. At this point, we've cut between Boddicker and his boys having fun and Lewis saving Murphy, right? This very selfless act of kindness.
Right.
With just rampant chaos and nihilism and hedonism, right?
Right.
Now, in high school, loved this movie, as I said.
Sure.
And one night at family dinner, I made a RoboCop comment. And my mom said, Arnold Schwarzenegger did that?
Okay.
And I said, Mom, that is not RoboCop, that is the Terminator.
Okay.
And she said, same difference.
Wow.
And I went off.
Wow. You sound like a fun guy to be around in this moment.
God, everyone should hang out with 15-year-old Griffin, because that guy was a little shit with no off switch.
You're like, Mom,
yes.
RoboCop is a cyborg. Terminator is a robot with human disguise, but he is not reliant on his organic components.
I believe the argument I also used against my French mother was, if I said Truffaut and Godard were the same thing, you would fucking disown me.
Jesus, God. Why didn't she kick you out on your ass at this very moment?
She got really defensive. She was like, okay, calm down. It made me irate. I probably stormed off to my room, right?
Yeah, seems like a good reaction from her. Bad reaction from you, good reaction from her.
So like a week later, I'm at home, and my mom knocks on the door, and she says, hey, are you done with your homework? I was like, yeah. She was like, do you have any plans tonight? Are you going out or anything? And I was like, no, why? And she was like, well, I was thinking maybe we could watch RoboCop together.
Wow.
And I was like,
we do for our children.
Really? And she was like, yeah, I mean, I saw how upset you got about that thing last week, and I feel like if it means that much to you, I should watch it. I was like, I'm not sure if you're going to like it. And she's like, I probably won't, but I feel like I should know about it.
Okay.
I sit there and watch it with her. And when like the early strikes, with all the violence, the sort of excessive, sort of maximalism of the movie, she's like, At a certain point, I turned to her, I'm like, what do you think? She's like, it's well done.
Sure.
Like, I get it.
She gets it.
I get it.
Right.
And then about like halfway through, she's like, this is pretty good, actually. I mean, I don't like these kinds of movies, but this is like pretty solid. Then at this point, when they cut between the Lewis Murphy save and the guys firing the guns.
You better play some music under this. When, play some weird like mommy music under this. Okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She turns to me and she goes, it's like their friendship is the only pure thing left in this world. Which I always think about when I get to this scene.
I understand these connections to movies.
It's like their friendship is the only pure thing left in this world. The rest is chaos. You just see people looting in the streets.
It's true. It's terrible. The rest of the world is bad.
And to end this story, the next day my mom called me from work and said, Griff, I can't stop thinking about RoboCop. That movie is great.
It is great. I mean, as much as I'm trolling you, it is great. And as much as you sound like a horrendous child.
Yeah, but that's a sweet story.
Very good story.
My mom's the hero of that story, not me.
10 story points.
My mom is the hero of that story.
Yes, 10 hero points for your mother. 10 little shit points for 15-year-old Griffin.
My mom's the Robo.
Your Band-Aid fell off and is like on your shoulder now.
Oh, that's my neck Band-Aid.
What did you do to yourself?
I have this fucking skin condition.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a problem. I think I'm dying.
Yeah, skin's falling off.
Robert Kopp. Now Lewis Murphy there. He's taking the helmet off. She's helping him train. Get his shooting
she
back.
sort of realigns his aim.
Right, but he's becoming more and more human now. And now Boddicker, who has the tracking device given to him by Dick Jones, comes with his remaining living boys for this final set piece of the film.
Very good set piece.
To just fucking kill RoboCop.
Right.
Kill him.
Sure. Blow him up with the anti-tank gun.
But here's the thing.
Sure. What's the thing?
He's a RoboCop.
Even without the helmet.
It's tough to kill him. And now also, he's got some emotional charge.
Mm.
This really isn't just a job anymore.
So how does he kill everyone? We'll get to Emil. Because obviously his death's the best.
But isn't that the first one?
I guess it... Yeah, I'm trying to remember if Joe...
He shoots the toxic waste.
Well, no, he drives into the toxic waste.
Right.
Doesn't he? Yeah.
Emil drives into the toxic waste in the car chase. Sorry.
Yeah.
It all lands on him. He comes out of the car. He's a melting goop man.
Yeah, he looks like the Toxic Avenger. It's great. It's great.
His skin is like just dripping off of his body.
I know.
It's an incredible fucking design for something that's in the movie for like 5 seconds.
I know, and
which
it's
is a
so
level
weird.
of craftsmanship, especially when these things had to be practically made. That I love.
I like his flipper arms. I also just love that it's like it's so weird. Even for this movie, toxic waste like turns him into a mutant like that. Like,
and his ear is like all the way down on his neck now, like my Band-Aid for my skin condition.
Doesn't like the henchman, one of his henchmen, like react to how he looks?
He's like,
yeah,
and pushes him away.
yeah.
And Newmeyer on the commentary track goes, "This is my metaphor for how relationships work in show business. This is how people treat you if you're film bombs." Which at 10 comedy points.
Good job, Ed. I also just like that when he finally gets hit by
one of the other
car,
boys who just is like, "Ooh, gross."
He's just water. Yeah. It's just melts.
Yes. Yeah.
Like there's just not a lot holding that.
He
dude
just
together.
turns into Gak.
Ed Newmeyer has written 2 movies, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys who's
Written
done a lot of other
scripts.
right.
Yeah,
but it's essentially Starship Troopers and this are his 2 amazing films. He wrote the Great American Movie, so it's better than the rest of us.
Yeah, agreed. I actually know, I have a family connection to Michael Miner.
Okay,
like a vague one. I've never met him.
Can we reach out to him?
Yeah, I think he exploded from cocaine after this movie. If that makes sense. I mean, he's still alive, I think, but I think this movie, he's rich forever because of it, and I'm not sure though. I actually don't mean to. What's the word? Denigrate this person who would barely know.
Newmeyer says on the commentary, he's like, I had a very hard time dealing with the success of this movie. I spent years struggling, and I've had ups and downs in show business, and the lean years have their own problems. But this movie was so weirdly big, and there was so much pressure on us because we had done something so different that I actually didn't know how to handle it, and I kind of collapsed for a couple of years. Which I think is why he doesn't really make another big movie.
Maybe it's Ed Newmeyer who exploded from cocaine. One of them exploded from cocaine.
That seemed to be the implication from how Newmeyer was
look, maybe they both did. It was the 80s.
Yes.
So RoboCop, he fights them. Yeah, what does he do to Joe Cox, though? I can't remember. And because he blows up, what's her name? Lewis blows up Ray Wise by shooting him up in the tower there.
Right. I think he just shoots him a lot.
He just shoots him, I guess. Yeah, Well, I can't remember if he's the first or second.
Who's laughing now?
Exactly. And then, finally he stabs Whitaker with his
because Ray Wise
information
has
spike.
the big crane and he drops the
debris
shit
on him.
Right, which crushes a shot I love where
good shot.
RoboCop
Very
just
good shot.
Fucking collapses.
I know, it's cool. It's intense.
And then Lewis gets back, blows him up, and now Boddicker's there and RoboCop rises and say it with me now.
I'm not going to say it with you.
He walks on water.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Clarence Boddicker, you are under arrest. Mm-hmm. He's there. They said, how do we fucking get RoboCop to kill Boddicker? We don't know what it is. It wasn't in the screenplay. And they were like, oh, fuck, we'd never use the information spike again. And Chekhov's gun, it was hanging up there the whole time. Yep. What a satisfying payoff. Fucking just lances him. Another very gruesome shot.
Yep.
Underneath the jaw. Mm-hmm. Boom. Dead. Murphy, I'm a mess. And she just collapses into the water. And he says,
they'll fix you. Whatever.
They fix everything. Which was a Peter Weller improv.
Oh,
not in the
really?
Script, a gorgeous line.
It's a great line. I just love because it's so haunted. You know?
And at this point, he has full awareness of what was done to him. Exactly. He doesn't feel like RoboCop. He feels like a fixed Frankenman.
Yeah, he is a Frankenstein.
Now, Ben.
Yes.
Your beloved, your SO, your life partner, Molly Gaby.
That's true.
Phenomenal comedian, improviser, actress around New York City.
Right.
She has some strong opinions.
She has a problem with this part of the movie in particular.
But she wanted to, much like our infamous, spin-off podcast, Tars Talk, hosted by David Rees. Yeah. She asked if we could cede some time to her with a pre-recorded message. So this is a segment I'm going to call Lewis Viewis.
Well, it's also...
as in her Lewis view is... ... What were you going to say, Ben?
Well, I was just going to say this episode's been real short, so definitely we need to pad it.
Yeah, so here comes a podcast in a podcast. Shout out to the McElroys. And here's Molly Gaby, and her Lewis view is... ...
Murphy, I'm a mess. I'm Molly Gaby, and my Lewis view is that this line is bullshit. So I just want to give you guys a quick recap. At this point, Ann Lewis has just been shot 9 times in the torso area, and she's fallen down the side of a junk car garbage pond and is bleeding out in a muddy steel mill sludge pit kind of thing. And then this strong female character uses her last moment on Earth to comment disparagingly on her own physical appearance. Yeah, she's a mess, I guess. I'm a mess. That's better suited as like a caption for a Kathy cartoon. You see, it just really undercuts her current accomplishments, you know? They give us a fierce female hero in an action movie, and they make her dying words about being disheveled. Also, can I just say she doesn't even look that bad? You know who's a mess? That guy who drove a truck into a vat of toxic waste. That guy is a mess. Give him that line. But no, we can't. He's a man. You know, he probably wouldn't say that. He doesn't even think he looks that bad, I bet. I mean, it's almost the end of the movie. We're like so close. Would it hurt you to give a grown-ass woman just like one epic line to die to? Guys get them all the time. Was there no other way to end this for Lewis? I mean, anything. Murphy, I'm dying. Or Murphy, I did it for you. Or Murphy, see you in RoboCop heaven. No, they had to give her a line that essentially sounds like, oh God, I got barbecue sauce on my jeans. I'm Molly Gaby, and my Lewis view is that this line is a mess.
All respect to Molly.
Thank you, Molly.
Amazing.
Great segment. Loved it. Hasn't been recorded yet, but I trust her.
I do too. Full trust. Just like with Talking Tars, where we were like, whatever it is, it'll be good.
Yeah. We're giving, sometimes we issue the blank checks.
Right.
To friends of the show. So now they're
Final scene.
Boom.
Boardroom.
There was originally further material written after this point.
Okay.
It wasn't going to end this concisely. Which
it ends concisely.
Masterstroke of the movie, I truly believe, and I know I'm saying a lot of hyperbolic things in this episode.
The ending's amazing.
This is the best final line in the history of cinema.
You wackadoo. It's a good final line, though. Joanna just turned to me when she was like, that's it? They just end it? And like, you couldn't do it today, which was her argument. You couldn't. No studio would allow this as an ending.
I will ask you this sincerely, and you can answer this.
I can't think of final lines. Right, I'll try and think of some good final lines.
Think of another movie where there is a one-word summation of the entire thematic concern of the film resolved in one word.
One word is a challenge. I have no idea. I'll think about it.
No, it doesn't have to be one word, but I'm just saying.
Well, nobody's perfect. Everyone always thinks of that.
Okay, that's a joke.
No.
3 comedy points.
No, 3? Come on. Give it more than 3.
I got issues with Joey Brown.
What do you ever do to you? Oh, boy.
You fucked with the wrong Griffin.
All right, yeah, it's a great final line. But before then, just...
He walks into the office.
I think thank you is just so good.
Right. Does his fucking information spike into the screen, plays.
Yeah, plays the evidence, yeah.
Right, I had to kill Bob Morton. Oh, shit. Now...
Takes the old man.
Holding him hostage, gun to the head. Oh, is this going to become a whole new action scene? Directive 4 flashing. How do we get out of this? Old man goes, Dick! You're fired.
Good shit.
Directive 4, shut down. Thank you. Boom. Puppet Ronnie Cox flies out the window.
Crazy shot.
Gorgeous, like fucking this. Like since the rest of the stop motion is like a fucking T-Rex in a car commercial.
Yeah.
And Ed 209. Once they get to a human stop motion puppet, it suddenly feels like we're in Pee-wee's Playhouse.
It's weird.
I forgot to mention that they said that when they screened the film for the LA Times, when it cut straight from Lewis saving Murphy from the police firing squad, hard cut to the T-Rex in the SUX commercial, the head critic from the LA Times got up from her seat, went to the projectionist booth, and said, "You've messed up. You played a reel from a different movie."
Wow.
Because she didn't know why a dinosaur was in the movie.
Yep. Well,
the reason they put that in is because Verhoeven and John Davidson wanted to make a dinosaur movie. They pitched an animated stop-motion dinosaur movie to Disney that was going to be classical music over a story of survival with non-talking dinosaurs, and that film was eventually turned into Dinosaur, the CGI animated film.
Weird movie, to be clear.
But that started out as a Verhoeven
movie. Had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah. So shoots him, falls out the window.
Nice shooting, son.
Straight into the tie.
What's your name? And he says...
He gives a sly little smile.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Nobody's perfect.
Let's just wait a while, see what happens. Trying to think of good last lines.
we need to fuck.
Oh, that's a great last line.
I just rewatched that movie.
Line.
Yeah,
Masterpiece.
that is an incredible last line. That's in my top 10 last lines ever.
It's in my top 10 movies ever.
I'm finished.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's pretty good.
But he says Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy.
And it's the most concise, beautiful, elegant ending ever because suddenly he knows who he is.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
He starts out as Alex Murphy.
Yes.
He becomes RoboCop, a man without an identity. Then he starts to understand that he once was Murphy, but refers to him in the third person, thinks of it as a different guy, and now finally, stripped down, armor, crunched, mask removed, face visible, voice no longer distorted, he knows who he is. He's fucking Alex Murphy. He can't go home again. The wife and son are gone. He's not man. He's not machine. He's 100% cop, but he still knows what his fucking identity is. At the end of the day, he's Alex goddamn Murphy, and he's the American Jesus.
Would have done it in July. What if he'd said that?
Birds. Dead or alive, you're coming with birds.
We have lost our minds.
Was a forced water landing.
Great movie. RoboCop is a great movie that is a hilarious satire of American police militarization gone wild.
Question though,
And the
David.
psyche of our nation.
And according to you, Jesus, what's your question? Jesus, Ben just like dislocated his
Physically
fucking elbow.
falling apart now. I have a skin
did you
condition.
do that?
I don't know. I got a question though.
What's your question?
What was the box office like that?
Oh, what a great question.
Can I just say this thing?
Damn it.
What?
Originally, they had further dialogue, and when they got to it, they just went, oh, the last line of the movie is Murphy.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
cut it off there,
It's just title card.
and Verhoeven tells a story about going to see the film after it did surprisingly well, seeing it at a theater in Harlem where the audience was really fucking into it, and when it got to the end of the movie, and the old man goes, nice shooting, son, what's your name? Before he even said it,
They went Murphy.
they all yelled out Murphy. And Verhoeven said he got chills, and it was the greatest moment of his career as a director. It was the most satisfying
That's
thing.
pretty cool.
That's great.
And Neumeyer tells a similar story about seeing it opening night, and when it went from Murphy to... That's the other thing. He says Murphy, and then it's just the word RoboCop. It's the two identities now.
No, it's great.
Back to back. The audience, like, exploded. Like, they went ballistic.
It is too bad that the sequels are bad because there's plenty of opportunity to make great sequels to this movie.
But the character needs to evolve. It needs
course.
to be the RoboCop
No,
he ends up being at the end rather than just resetting to now he's got the helmet on and he's a RoboCop. And
you
he
can
stops.
put the helmet back on if you want. He just has to be Murphy.
I think you need to redesign the suit a little bit. I think he needs to have an evolution.
No, I think it's fine with him.
I think he can't have the same helmet on. I think you need to see his eyes.
No. Then you can't make a sequel.
No,
you have to have the
you
So
gotta
helmet.
here's my hot
introduce-
take. You don't
no.
need a sequel.
You got to
No.
introduce time travel.
I'd be fine with that.
No, I think the helmet's fine. You just say he can pop it up and down. Like it doesn't, you don't, whatever it is. He needs the helmet because the helmet is why the movie works. It's just how Jaws, like the score is 50% of why the helmet is 50% of why that movie works.
It's like in the fucking remake, it's a visor and it flips up and
fuck
his
that.
whole face is underneath there and it looks normal.
Well, because they want you to show you Joel Kinnaman or whatever.
Right. They spend so much money on Joel Kinnaman that they have to
Roll
make...
eyes. But I think it's just, the world is so fun and Omni Consumer Products is so fun like that. There's just so many fun things you could do.
Well, that's why I've seen some of the live action show, the cartoon show. I think like that's the way to do is just make like spin-off shows where like the stories are just fun adventures. But the movies, I think it was impossible to replicate all the elements.
Why did I get us started on this? Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think you don't want to see canonical weighted stories with him not being full awesome RoboCop, but also it's sad to see him not be the happier, more reconciled Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the TV show.
Box office.
Opened at number one. Surprise hit.
Yes. July 17th, 1987.
Dead of Summer.
It opened
It's almost 30 years ago. A
Yes.
little over.
Shut up.
Almost 31 now by the time this episode comes out.
Yeah, exactly. It opened to $8 million,
Okay. Huge opening weekend.
which was adjusted for inflation would be about 18 million now. So, big opening weekend, but obviously it's not on the kind of
on like
screens.
less than 1,000 screens.
No, 1,500 screens.
Hey.
Number one,
I'd
8
buy
million.
that for $1.
Yep.
You get it, David?
Uh-huh.
I would buy that for
Quiet.
$1.
53 million domestic total, which is adjusted about
115.
122.
Hey, not bad.
Number two.
I'd buy that for $122.
Shut up. Number two at the box office is a reissue of a classic animated film.
A Disney picture.
Yes. Open to $7.5 million. Real counter programming to RoboCop.
Mm-hmm. Can you give me the decade?
30s.
Is it Snow White?
Yes, I believe that's the only 30s Disney movie.
I believe you are correct.
I think Pinocchio is 1940. I mean, Bambi is 40.
Yeah. I think Snow White's 39, right?
I thought it was 30. Oh, no, Bambi's 42. I thought it was 37.
Pinocchio's the second one.
Yeah, right. Oh, I was right. I shouldn't have overthunk it. Yeah, yes, I'm right. Snow White is 37. Pinocchio is 40.
Okay.
Because, it took a while.
Yeah.
Number 3 is the fourth and I believe last in a series that is a great movie and then 3 terrible sequels.
So this is
it's also opening. No, it's the fourth.
I'm saying this is the 3rd terrible sequel in a row.
Correct. Yes, it's number 4.
And this is the end of the franchise?
I'm sure it is. They didn't make another one. I believe the lead actor in this movie has very clearly stated that he made this movie to buy like a nice summer home.
Oh, this is Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Correct. Starring
Michael Caine.
Yes.
Who did not accept his own Academy Award because he was filming this movie.
Correct. And never always regretted it because he won for Hannah and Her Sisters. Yeah.
Yes. And they said, do you have any regrets?
Right.
And he said, I have not seen the picture, but by all accounts, it is terrible. However, I have seen the house it bought, and by all accounts, it's wonderful.
Yes.
Or shall I say, I have not seen the picture.
No, don't.
But by all accounts, it is terrible.
So that opening, these are all new openings.
But I have seen the house it bought. And by all accounts.
Shut up.
It was wonderful.
Shut the fuck up. I'm so hungry. That was an opening. That was all 3 of those were new to the theater this week.
Yeah, Jaws
4 they all made about the same amount of money.
Yeah.
In their opening weekends. Jaws 4, The
RoboCop
Revenge,
lingers.
does not make much money.
Yeah.
20 million total.
No.
Number 4 was number 1 the week before. It's a sequel as well. People complain about the sequels.
Is it? Yeah, but they were rampant back then. Is it a Deuce or
it's a Deuce?
It's a Deuce. Okay,
it's a Deuce. Okay. It's a comedy.
Mashed up with another genre?
No,
straight comedy.
It's just a comedy. I hate these movies.
Yeah, it's really.
Police Academy 2?
No, but you're near. Yeah, problematic is a good word. Same. I mean, not near. Maybe not quite as like blatantly bad as the Police Academy.
How many were
movies.
there in total?
Oh, good question.
So a lot.
I don't know. I don't think about these movies at all. It doesn't even say here.
Weekend at Bernie's 2?
No. I hate these movies.
Yeah.
Mannequin 2 on the Move?
No.
I think you hate these movies.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's even weird that I hate them. Just like, there's 4 total.
There's 4 total.
But 2 of them are TV movies.
Oh, Revenge of the Nerds.
Number 2.
2.
Called subtitle.
Because 3 is Nerds in Love. 4 is Nerds in Paradise.
No, this is Nerds in Paradise.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
bad franchise.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad movies.
So there it is.
Booger rules, though.
Fine.
Booger's cool.
Number 5.
Booger's cool.
Is the penultimate movie by a director we just referenced without saying his name.
Booger?
Oh, God. David is now thrown.
He is conclusively. Had it with me.
Yeah, I've got another bottle.
He threw a water bottle at me. Ben
I missed.
Another water bottle. Yeah. Okay.
No, we've mentioned him
Today.
Yeah, but we just mentioned one of his movies in our Final Lines Rampage. So that was his last movie?
Nobody's
This is his penultimate movie.
That what? Wait.
Not Nobody's
We
Perfect.
referenced his last movie.
Mm-hmm.
This was the
in
film
our
before
Final
his
Lines.
last film.
Yep.
So it's not Something Like That Hot. It's it's Full Metal Jacket.
Correct.
Right.
Full Metal Jacket, which made a pretty healthy $46 million.
Yeah.
Way above its budget.
One of his bigger hits.
Yeah, but he made a lot of hits. I feel like people sort of forget this. It's like The Shining was a nice sized hit.
I think unadjusted, that's number 2 though, behind 2001.
Unadjusted, it is number 3.
Oh, behind Shining as well.
No, Eyes Wide Shut made $55 million.
Yeah, it's so weird that Eyes Wide Shut opened to number 1 in July.
People were really hyped up for that movie, and then they saw it.
Yeah,
and it freaked them out.
Weird.
Like his only real bomb is, I guess, like Paths of Glory.
Eyes Wide Shut definitely didn't make money, considering how much it cost.
Who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Who gives
okay,
a
whatever. I don't know.
shit?
I don't
give
know.
a
I don't know.
What do you think of Full Metal
$1?
Jacket?
You know what? I've actually never seen the whole thing.
Yeah, okay.
I watched on TV when I was in high school, and for whatever reason, I never finished it. So I've only seen the first half.
Well, that's supposedly the good half. I like the second half.
That's the thing.
Second half's just weird.
I think it's very good, but I've also haven't seen the half that turned some people off.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not bad. It's just that the first half is so spellbinding.
Yeah.
Adventures in Babysitting, which someone recently told me to watch on the Blanky Slack, Reddit, whatever the fuck
so
it is.
D'Onofrio's killing it right now.
I guess so. Good for him.
Thor in that movie. He's the original Thor.
Yeah.
Remember that?
No. Inner Space with my boy Dennis Quaid.
Joe Dante. A movie I hope we get to cover someday.
Sure. Beverly Hills Cop 2.
The Deuce.
The Witches of Eastwick. A lot of good movies.
So Ryan Cox is killing it too.
The Untouchables, which we mentioned.
Hey.
Spaceballs.
This is an amazing weekend.
A lot of movies to see. If you're interested in going to the theater in July 1987. Well, I was, when this movie came out, I was 1 year old, about 15 months.
Okay, we don't have time for personal stories. Let's wrap it up, please. It's a tight episode.
This film was nominated for 2 Oscars.
Editing and
sound. And it was given a special Oscar for sound editing, which was not yet like a full category then.
Okay.
So that was a special achievement award.
But editing was definitely an unusual, unexpected nomination for this movie.
Sure, yeah, because the other, editing nominees are often just the Best Picture nominees, and indeed the other 4 are Best Picture nominees. Can you name them?
1987, Full Metal Jacket?
No, wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
Really?
No, just Best Screenplay.
Okay.
The winner of 1987's Oscar, a good movie.
A good movie.
Very stately.
A goofy movie?
No.
It's not Amadeus?
No, that's 84.
Stately.
Very long, epic period drama.
Out of Africa?
Nope. That's 85 or 86. Long, epic, Asian.
Oh, Last Emperor.
Yeah. Which wins. Then you got a comedy that we might be talking about one day. 87. Great year for movies.
We might be Broadcast News?
Yes. Then you got a Spielberg movie, not nominated for Best Picture. So I was wrong, actually.
87 Spielberg. It's not a Jones.
No.
Is
it's one of his prestige pictures.
Is it, why am I forgetting the title now? The Empire.
Yes, Empire of the Sun.
Yes.
And then you got RoboCop. And
I'm sorry, you mean Robert Cop.
And then you've got a sex thriller. That was the biggest hit of the year, pretty much.
But you said it's not a goofy movie?
No, it's not a goofy movie or an extremely goofy movie.
Fatal Attraction?
Yes. All the other nominees, Best Picture nominees, were Hope and Glory and Moonstruck. I love Moonstruck. I've never seen Hope and Glory.
I've never gotten into Moonstruck. I try to give it a shot every couple of years, and I don't dislike it, but I never, it never clicks. The moon doesn't hit my eye like a big pizza pie.
I'll click you. Ben, how you doing? It's late. We kept you late.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Oh boy, oh boy. So this is your number 1 Verhoeven with a bullet.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah.
You
so
could say
Griffin
that.
just described the whole plot of RoboCop to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed that.
You're welcome.
He took longer than the movie does. I suppose I talked a little bit. This movie won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Saturn's awards. So try and top that.
Weller should have been honored for Best Acting.
He was nominated. Oh, by the Saturns.
By the Oscars.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah. But he's amazing in this movie.
Did he win the Saturn that year?
Nope.
Who won?
You're going to make me look it up, aren't you?
Went home with the ring.
But you know what? Let me say this.
You fucker.
If Weller was nominated...
I stopped recording. I hit... All right, now we're good.
He literally stopped recording.
The headphones fell down.
Ben laughed, dropped the headphones off his head, hit the keyboard.
Best actor went to Jack Nicholson for The Witches of Eastwick.
Oh.
Well, I look forward to being nominated but not winning and being able to say I'm in the rarefied company of Peter Weller.
It's too bad. Everyone else nominated for the Best Actor Saturn this year is so good. Michael Nuri in The Hidden. A fucking great movie.
Yeah.
Terry O'Quinn in The Stepfather.
Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the Saturns honoring like the genre movies.
Yes.
Peter Weller, Schwarzenegger in Predator, Lance Henriksen in Pumpkinhead. 5 great nominees, but then they're like, they can't help themselves. Nicholson probably didn't even show up to the ceremony.
100% did not show up.
And yet they're like, oh, Jack Nicholson for The Witches of Eastwick.
What if he just was there in the front row wearing a tux with sunglasses?
That would be great. They give it to him at like the Lakers game. And he's like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, they gave him the ring.
I mean, Nicholson's a creep, right?
Jessica Tandy won for.
I mean,
probably.
It's gonna.
Yeah, you want to do Benny on the record?
I mean, yeah, that's totally. Yeah, that's true, right? We're like
Jessica Tandy won Best Actress for Batteries Not Included at that Oscar. It's just the weirdest Saturn.
That's cool.
That's
Saturn's
cool.
rule. I used to spend so much time looking up Saturn winners because they nominated and would give awards to the kind of performances that I love that never get recognized.
Anyway,
and I hope to join that company someday. Starting my campaign now. Consider me in a fur
Penny's
coat,
on the record,
Melissa Leo style, telling you.
Consider.
It's 2017. I'm predicting that Nicholson will be revealed to be the creep that he is.
He's certainly Lara Flynn Boyle. That's all I really know of Jack Nicholson's life.
Yep. So that was our episode on RoboCop.
Yep.
The great movie. American film.
Great movie. Subpar to bad episode. We did a great job.
Oh,
now, are you happy?
That's weird because, oh my God, I just was handed a Saturn Award for this episode.
Why are you so happy? You were going to tell me why you were so happy.
Because I watched RoboCop twice in 24 hours.
Oh, that's the reason. Oh, you're so weird.
The best mood stabilizer.
He was like, I have news that I will share with you once we start recording.
News. I said, I'm in a really good mood. I'll tell you why when we start recording because I want your reaction in real time. And now it's captured forever in history. That's the magic of podcasting. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. Next week we have Total Recall with the We Hate Movies boys. Yeah. That's going to be exciting.
We got some of the We Hate Movies boys. We're hopefully going to get the other ones on for another episode. We didn't want to overload you with too many boys in one room on the mic.
Yep.
But tune in for that. Total Recall with the We Hate Movies boys. Listening to the Jetsons being the Flintstones, my favorite reference. Please remember, rate, review, subscribe. Go to blankies.reddit.com for some real nerdy shit. Thanks to Ange Fergudo for our social media, Liam Montgomery for our theme song, Joe Bowen and Pat Reynolds for our artwork. And as always, I am a supporting actor in the
category. Rooney Mara and Carol.
Supporting actor.
What's Ethan Hawke in Training Day? That's what you're pulling right now.
Less competition. Number 2 on the call sheet.